Hello guys, welcome to the stream. I'm very impressed tonight, guys. I was just watching the numbers. I can see how many people are in the stream. I hadn't even started. There's over 80 people there, so that's a good start to the night. How's everyone doing? Quite a lot of people in the chat already. Let me say hi to who came in first. Let me go right to the top. Let's explore Bangkok. Evening, everyone. Seems a few people are in early tonight. Yeah, lots of comments in already. Before we start, guys, I've got to tell you what we're not going to do tonight. I've got, I've got a few things lined up for you. What we're not going to do, we're not going to be discussing Russia and Kiev and that nut job Putin. I know it's big news. It's sad what's going on. It's very scary stuff. That's all I'm going to say on it. I don't want to discuss it anymore. I've been watching it on the news. We're here. This is going to be light-hearted tonight. We're talking about Thailand. And so any questions I'm basically going to ignore. Not ignore, I'll be polite, but I just don't want to talk about that subject. Okay, let's lighten up. It's a Friday night. Okay, so already 126 in. Let's get through some of these comments. While I'm doing that, let me just put up the exchange rates today, and we'll go straight to comments. Right. Dave Andrew, hope all good with everyone. Peter, I'm thinking I will book again from UK next week for trip for 14th of March for 3 weeks as we go back to December restrictions, which were okay. Yeah, they were okay, Dave. That's, I won't talk about this either because everybody knows now. Every vlogger and his brother's been talking about it. But, the fifth day Shah quarantine, obviously that's out the window now. So it makes things a lot more attractive. You still got to jump through hoops, but for me, when I went out there, it's the same as when I went out in December. You get your PCR test before you get on the plane, and then providing you're negative after that first day, away you go, and it's fine. So yeah, don't blame you, Dave. Go for it. Right, let's explore Bangkok again. Lucky you, Dave. I'll pass into. Okay, you'll speak to someone else again. Let's go down and get some new ones here. Who else? Shin, how you doing, mate? I seen you in the chat quite early. Nice to hear from you again. Right, there's quite a few comments here from the same people at the beginning. Let me get down and get some new people into the chat. Danish Bacon, how are you, mate? Good to see you again. You're in every chat I ever see. A nomad overseas, another regular. Christ on a bike. That girl in the picture has a serious set of hoppers. That's actually the same girl that I put in every week, but she's actually younger in that picture. So you might not have realised. And I kind of moved the picture over because you couldn't see the full glory of her development. You put it that way. It was kind of hidden from that black square that YouTube put on coming in 20 minutes, whatever. So I moved it across. So something to keep you put a smile on your face on a miserable night like tonight. Okay. Oh wow, nearly 200 in already. Great. Blimey, let's explore Bangkok. I can't read out all your comments, mate. There's so many of them. But good to see you in the stream. Blimey. Right, Max Veit. Hi, Peter. Hi, guys. Blimey, you've got so many comments in there. Let's explore Bangkok. You must have at least 20, 30. Seamus Doherty. Hi, Peter. COVID seems to be over. Yeah, we had our... aren't you glad about it, guys? I'll talk about Thailand, what they're doing. I'm not going to go over the same old ground that everybody talks about, the 5-day thing and that. I got a couple of articles for you, which look quite exciting. In the UK now, if you're not living in the UK, Thursday was our Freedom Day, they call it. So there's no restrictions whatsoever. We don't have to wear masks. You go on London Transport, the Underground, all that sort of thing. There's no requirement to wear masks. There's just no rules for it anymore. It's all gone. It's like pre-COVID now. The only thing for us is when we want to go somewhere else. But I think Thailand are going to take a step in the right direction. I really do in the next few months, and I'll tell you about that in a little while when there's a few more in. I noticed some of the other YouTubers this week, or somebody mentioned it to me actually, their viewing numbers on the live streams are kind of down from what they normally are. And I don't think it's because they're doing anything different. People change their habits. They do things throughout different times of the year. So I'll be interested to see how many I get in here tonight. The more the merrier, as always. Let me get rid of that. What else are we going to say? I don't know if they're watching now. I just want to put that up. Say, Brian Flowers. Brian Flowers, he's actually joined. He's a member of my channel now. So I just say big hi to Brian Flowers and Black Bolt. I know his real name, but he's Black Bolt on here. He's the guy who comes with the trilby. He'll be in like 30 seconds before the end of the stream. But thanks to you two. If you don't know Brian, he's quite a character. Well, that's the wrong way to describe him. He's a very intelligent businessman who's based in Pattaya. He's been there for about 15 years, runs a load of bars, a gym and all the rest of it. He actually interviewed me yesterday. What happened was I said to Brian, I said, look, why don't you come on channel and interview you? So I did interview him. I haven't put it up yet. It'll probably go up next Sunday because I edit all my stuff and put nice pictures and text on it and everything. Take my time, you know. But I think Brian, he just goes for it and then sticks it straight up on the web. So I had a look at that yesterday. He interviewed me, and of course I was dreading it because I thought, oh Christ, you know, every time another YouTuber interviews me, I get all these trolls come on, leave all these terrible comments. But they weren't too. They were quite good actually on his one yesterday. They were sort of saying, yeah, it was a good, you know, it was quite a good stream. This is a bit worrying. If you look on here now, cases in Thailand, they're higher than they've ever been. But it looks like the government are trying to. Well, I'll talk about that in a little while. But although that's scary, there's about 6,000 more daily cases at the moment. So that looks kind of like doom and gloom. But it isn't so bad when I tell you the news later. Let me just, Dave, you're a superstar, mate. You should be sitting here, not me. You did this last week. Let me find that. Dave Andrew there. I enjoyed your vlog with Brian Flow. Oh, you actually seen it, did you, Dave? I didn't know if anybody from here had actually seen the interview that I did with Brian. Some of his questions were quite unusual, but I kind of got through it. But he's a nice guy, Brian, actually. Right, okay. Thanks for that, Dave. First one of the night. Right, let me get rid of that. What else I've got? Got some bits and pieces, some news. I've got itchy hooter tonight. Get rid of that. Right, let's say hello to a few more people. 69 Phuket, pay bar tax. IQ Neg, is it? Hi, greetings from Chile Con Ken. I've got hopefully short trip to Switzerland planned in April. Air travel, time migration permitting. I haven't know. Well, how do you pronounce that? Is it I Neg or I New Ked? I spent 2 years in Con Ken. You know the Portman Hotel, the main hotel in the middle of Con Ken? That used to be a Sofitel, and I went up there early 90s as the part of the opening team to open that hotel. So I actually lived in that hotel for 2 years, had a room there. Probably a bit dated now, I would imagine. Let's say hi to a few more people. Oh, and I contacted, Ed Sweeney. He's in Pattaya at the moment. I spoke to Ed this week, and we're going to do another live stream together because the last one we did went on for nearly 5 hours. We both got drunk. It was probably a bit too long. Well, it was a lot too long, but it was good fun. We seemed to gel quite well, Ed and me, on the stream. I just said to him, Ed, why don't we do another one? You know, and Ed, quite rightly, he said to me, yeah, I'd love to, but I'm stuck in Pattaya. Wait till I go somewhere a bit more interesting. So when he moves out of Pattaya and he's in another location, providing his internet's good, then Ed and I will hook up and we'll do another live stream. Hopefully it won't be as crazy as the last one we did. Darren Drew, hi, how you doing? Richard, hi, Richard. Booked for March 22nd, London Heathrow, Bangkok, Thai Airways, 3 weeks, Pattaya, Thailand, then 3 weeks, Philippines, Millet, and touring around. Okay, but just remember, Richard, while these rules are in place, if you go to the Philippines and you want to come back to the Thailand, it's an international border, so you'll have to do all the Thailand pass again as if you were going for the first time. A lot of people, they think because they're in Asia that they can just come back in, and they can't. Hi to Dave. Did I do? Oh, I did that one already, didn't I, Dave? There's another one there. Hang on, who's that? Paul Shackleton. Yeah. Hi, Paul. Thanks for that. Appreciate that. Just say hi to Franco as well. He's doing the modding tonight, so Franco's at home on his PC, but he's looking out for the bad comments. So, Paul, thanks for that. Right, 252 in now. Okay, let me wait about 20 minutes before I read these bits of news out about the what's going on in Thailand at the moment. Maybe you haven't heard. I don't know. Harold Bishop, how you doing? Nice to see you again, Harold. You're a real regular now. You're in every week, and I love the tuxedo. It's a black tie night. That night, was it? Right. FVDV, is it? Hello from Durham. Bit cold up there. I would imagine it's cold down here. Paul Mocker. Yeah, all right, Paul. You nearly caught me out there. JB, let's get ready to rumble. Raymond, how do Peter? Yeah, how you doing, Dave? Mike Hunt, good to see you again, mate. I'm sure Peter will be on time. 30 seconds to go. That must be an early one. I'm never late. I see some guys when they do streams, they're kind of like, well, it's not important if I'm 5 minutes late. But I'm a real stickler for time. If it's 9, I'm sitting here. It's what I count the seconds going down. As soon as it 58, 59, 60, bang, away we go. Always on time, because I hate waiting for things. I can't stand it. Right, Dutch Frank. Cats and good coffee. It's a big can of Unox Wurst. Okay, I'm sure you understand that one. I don't. Alexander DuPont, how you doing? My left nut. Greetings from the sack. All right, won't even go there on that one. Del Boy K, how you doing? What's new? we missed out. Joey Clacton, ready for a fun evening. Yeah, Paul. I'm not going to do the lady boy competition for a while, guys, because I noticed, although a lot of you guys like that competition, what I did notice on the last time I did it, I had about 500 in the stream. And when I started the lady boys competition, Franco pointed this out to me as well. Within 2 minutes, 100 people dropped out. So obviously it's not for everybody. People come on and want to know what's going on and discussing various bits and pieces. But, you know, obviously when that comes up, people are like, oh, screw this, you know, I'm going to move on. So I'll leave it for a while. I noticed a lot of other YouTubers that used to do competitions and stuff. They've kind of let them slip as well, haven't they? Because they do get a bit boring after a while. Even the good ones, if you kind of stretch it too far, it gets they do have shelf lives. Right. Oh, you've seen that one as well, Danish Bacon. Great interview with Brian Flowers. Enjoyed that vlog. Yeah, it was quite long actually. It was about when I do interviews. You've seen the one I did with Katie, the lady from America. I want to get her on again. Actually, I must get in contact with her. That's quite a good interview. When I interviewed her, it was an hour long, but by the time I chopped it to bits, it was about half an hour because she's never been on YouTube before, and when I asked her certain questions, she got she didn't know what to say, and she went into like a kind of little girly giggle. So I had to cut all that sort of stuff out. But she's nice. But the one with Brian, yeah, he kind of doesn't really time it. It just kind of goes on, and when he's had enough, he just turns it off. I think it's 50 minutes or something. Oh, I enjoyed it, to be honest with you. The one next week where I'm interviewing him, Brian's doing most of the talking, I'm doing most of the listening. It was the other way around yesterday. JB, hi. Matthew Alcombe, probably be safer in Thailand now. I don't know. Those numbers are real high at the moment, Matthew. Charmin Farang, hello. Is that really the name? Hello, Peter. Hope you're all well. Yeah. Right. Where are you coming from? Robert 884. Morning from boring New Zealand. Booked for April. I'd love to go to New Zealand. My friend went to New Zealand actually. He went around in a camper van. He said it was fantastic country. If you're into that sort of thing. Matthew, how are you doing? Get your face up there. Good to see you, Peter. Yeah, cheers. Good to see you. Glenn Hendricks, it's Friday afternoon. Lovely. Don't know where in the world you are. Stuart, hi. Paul Shackleton, yeah, we've said hi to you. Who else? Who have I missed? Fatty McDonut, Thailand or Philippines? Where should I go? I know where I'd go. Definitely. I'm a Thailand junkie. I've been to the Philippines. The Philippines is okay. I can't slate it, but it just I prefer Thailand. It just ticks all the boxes. Rob, how you doing? You're off soon, aren't you? Good evening, Peter. Got those? Yeah, I got them. Rob. Do you know what, Rob? It's so cold in the UK tonight. I mean, the stars are out, so there's no cloud cover. It's so cold that I don't even have to put them in the freezer and time. Normally, I put them. I'm really careful because they start to crystallize if I leave them too long, and then they swell up, and then I can't drink them. But it's so cold tonight that I've actually left them on the pavement outside the back door, so I don't have to mess about. They won't freeze completely, but it's cold enough to enjoy them. I'll have one of them about maybe 10 o'clock. Over 300 in now, so we're getting there slowly but surely. Good to see you again, Rob. You last week, I think you said you had about 4 or 5 weeks to go, so you must be getting very excited now because it's your first time, isn't it? I think you said it was your first time. Mac Ty, how you doing? Hi, how to you? Damien, I thought you weren't going to be in tonight. Evening, Mr. Peter. Have a great stream, buddy. All the best. I don't think you'll be around. So, Damien, you've been here from day. Damien's been in this stream from day one. It's about a year now, and good lad is Damien. Franco, the first time he's seen Damien, I think it was Franco or somebody seen this picture. He said, "Cool, that Damien looks a bit tasty. I wouldn't like to bump into him on a dark alleyway, but he's a nice guy." Damien, mate, it's your birthday tomorrow. If I don't, I will send you a message, but it'll be a bit corny if it's just like happy birthday. So I'll tell you now, sincerely, mate, have a good one. I know you got a lot on your mind because of what we discussed before, but I hope you have a good one anyway and get a few of those vodkas down here when you're looking over them Ducati motorbikes tomorrow, all right? You did say you wouldn't be around too late. I know what you're expecting me to come out with. That you always laugh when I'm talking to you off screen, but I won't be doing it here. Right. Job Hobson, pre-departure PCR in UK needs to go as they become less accessible, but it's a step in the that should have been right direction, not tight direction. It's like Brian Flowers yesterday. He said, "I've got Peter here from Thailand Brown. That's how he introduced the site. Hope you're well. Fairly new to the channel. Love the stories. Planning trips. So there's four more stories tomorrow. That made me laugh. I got to tell you about this because I said to myself tonight, right, I'm not going to talk about trolls whatsoever because I always talk about them. But I went on to Brian's, when I'm not talking about troll, I just want to tell you something funny, right? So when Bangkok Pat interviewed me, because he's quite a serious guy and he does serious documentary style videos about the old city in Thailand, that's the canals and all that. He doesn't talk about girls or bars or anything like that. He's got a different following to me. So of course, when he interviewed me, people were up in arms. His fans were up in arms. They're like, what the hell are you doing interviewing this guy? He's a sex pat. He's a monger. All he talks about is bars and girls. And you're bringing the tone of your channel right down by having this guy Peter on there. Never, it's enough to make me unsubscribe. I'm gonna puke. Maybe not quite that far. But I had to laugh yesterday. I went on. So Brian put that video up, and he's got his comments. And Brian doesn't kind of answer too many of his comments because he's busy, right? So I look every sort of half an hour or something and just go through the comments because Brian's busy. He might not look until the end of the day. So I was very nervous after Bangkok Pats. I thought, I'm going to get stick again. But I suppose with Brian, because he's running bars and he's in patio and he's got a kind of similar, the guys who are on here obviously like this channel because of what I talk about. If you went on a serious channel, you might not like it, but because Brian's in that environment of what I'm making videos about, people are not so offended. But so, I'll tell you why I was smiling, because somebody went, those stories that I do, there's always minimum 3 to, I've had 8 in one session, but normally it's about 3 to 4, 3 or 4 every Saturday. And I've been doing them for the best part of 2 years, putting these stories out, your stories. So they get sent in. So what's that? There's 52 weeks in a year. So let's say 100 weeks at on average 2.5 stories. So what's that? That's, say, 250 stories. There's probably more because some of the uploads have got more stories in the videos. And this guy left a comment. He said, this guy, talk about me, right? This guy, I think this guy lives in a fantasy land. It's total fiction. He's made these all up, something like that. And I thought, I've got to respond to this. I just said, I made them all up. I must have a brain like Einstein. I should have been an astronaut. But I still can't believe that some people think I make all these stories up. I mean, unbelievable. Okay, who haven't we said hello to? No logs to. Flights to Bangkok booked today, flying out after Songkran on the 27th. Yeah. Okay, we got enough people in now. Let's get the top story, couple of stories from the night. Right, and we'll talk about this, guys. So I think this one I got from the Tiger today. Some of these this one's up to date, but sometimes when I read these stories, there might be, if they're interesting, but they're not kind of like serious stories, there might be 2 or 3 days late. But these couple are like today from the Tiger. I think it's from the Tiger anyway. So the title of this, it says Thailand to declare a COVID. I'm saying it now, COVID. Never mind, Melwood. Right, Thailand to declare COVID. Thanks, Harold. I'm going to have to come back to this because Harold's got in at the wrong time there. But I'm going to just put this on the screen because, guys, you work hard for your money, and when you give it to me, I'm not going to just ignore it. I'm going to put it up on here. Where are we? I told you before, I used to do super chats before I had a YouTube channel. I'd watch YouTubers and I'd send somebody a $5 or a $10 because I just like watching what he was doing, and they didn't give me a shout out. And I was just reading something else there. Yeah, I'd be watching somebody's. I will come back to that story, guys. Bear with me. Before I had a YouTube channel, I used to watch certain Thai vloggers, not the ones that are around at the moment, but different guys. I don't want to say their names here because you might go off and watch them. But I think I like this guy, and he was living in patio and he's on a budget. He wasn't asking for money, but I can tell from his lifestyle that he's not flush with cash. So I thought, I'll send the guy a $10, help him out. If everyone sent him a $5, and I didn't mind doing it. And but sometimes I do it and they wouldn't read my name out. And it's not that I was looking. It's not like I'm a I forget the name, what you call them. People are always seeking attention. I'm not one of them, but it's just, when you send someone a $5 or a $10 or whatever it is, you want them to say on screen, thanks, I appreciate that. So I make a big deal now. It doesn't matter what I'm talking about. If somebody puts a super chat up like this, I always stop everything and say thank you. So Harold, you're a generous man. You do it every Saturday, and I know it sounds corny and cheesy, but I really do appreciate it. And you know where that's going. I don't do any charities. I'm not giving it to the poor. That'll go straight down my throat with some Cronenbergs. All right. Right. Let's go back to this serious story now, and then we'll talk about it. Right. So the headline is Thailand to declare COVID endemic in 4 months. So you know the difference between a pandemic and an endemic, right? So Thailand's health ministry wants to declare COVID-19 as an endemic in the next 4 months. A senior minister official says that the Omicron variant has resulted in a much lower fatality rate than in previous waves. And while lung infections are increasing, cases of severe illness are still lower than earlier waves of the virus. The health ministry says it plans to hold a press conference to confirm the plan for transitioning the country out of a pandemic status and onto managing the endemic illness. Now, I will talk about this as a second part to this, but here we go again. And I'm not upset about it because I love money like everybody else. So let me put this one up. There's another one there. That's I haven't seen you. Some of these names are very clever. I haven't seen you in the chat before, so I'm going to say it because you've given me a nice donation there. So it's suffering sucker snatch. Right. Well, we can decipher that. We all know what that means. But I haven't seen you in here before, but it's good to see you in here. And that's a good start. Thank you very much for that. Right. Let me just see. I don't know if so there's a comment hidden there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I won't put it up. Cats and good coffee. I've just read your comment. I won't put it up because the guy's name there, he might be watching and thinking, oh, I'm famous because they're talking about me, so we won't talk about him. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's the same guy. Yeah, okay. Franco held that, which is quite right because of the name. Okay, so that was the first bit on that story, and we will talk about this. Now let me go into the second part. This is a different story, but on the same theme, right? So the title of this is Thailand moving to scrap. This is great news. Thailand moving to scrap all tourist restrictions this year once the pandemic is declared an endemic, right? So that story just said within 4 months, they're going to go into an endemic, right? That's what they're planning. So it's pandemic now within 4 months. So what we know, March, April, May, June, right? So just in time for the summer holidays. And then, so that's what they're saying they're doing on the first one. And the second one, Thailand moving to scrap all tourist restrictions this year once the pandemic is declared an endemic, which links to the other story we just read out, right? So that's great news. And this story is from the Thai Examiner. It says the Thai government is planning to scrap all entry restrictions on foreign travel sometime this year when it declares the pandemic as an endemic disease. According to the Ministry of Tourism and Sports, on Wednesday, the kingdom did away with the requirement for a second test on arrival on the 5th day for incoming tourists following calls by business leaders to allow the industry to revert to normal. This is happening at the same time as this is quite interesting, economic data suggests strongly that foreign tourism income has had a far higher impact on the country's economy than originally thought due to its impact on confidence and the level of indirect economic activity generated. I haven't even had a beer yet. But so that's great. So you guys aren't stupid. You know what they're saying there. I don't need to explain it to you. But basically, in a nutshell, they're saying, right, okay, well, we're going to downgrade it within the next 4 months. And then when it's downgraded, we're going to take away a lot of these restrictions or get rid of all the restrictions, I think it said. So, Damien, if you're still watching, I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. I might have lost a £20 bet with you because it isn't done by, I bet, Damien, it'll be all gone by Songkran. So I'll probably lose that bet. That's fair enough. 20 quid. I'll give you back some of what you gave me. But, you said to me, oh, that's this year written off then. I'm not going to go this year. But no, honestly, I did say to you, you are going this year. Damien hasn't seen his girlfriend for 2.5 years. I hope somebody doesn't put a comment like this last week. I'm just laughing. Sorry, guys. I'm laughing because of something. It's a private joke. He knows what I'm on about. Somebody left a comment for him. Rob, thanks, Rob. You didn't have to do that, but I do appreciate it. It's 33 days until I fly. Not that I'm counting. 3 friends have flown out today. I've told them to get the Leos and Soapy lined up and waiting for me. Are you actually going to spend some time in Bangkok, Rob, or are you going straight down to Pattaya? Or are you doing a bit of both? I mean, if you, I don't know if you've got like a schedule set in stone, as it were, but if it's your first time, try. I mean, you're obviously you're on this channel, so you must be a little bit of a monger, even if on the side. Try and hang out in Bangkok a little bit. Go to Sukhumvit, stay somewhere close to Sukhumvit Soi 4. Around the Nana area, there's loads of stuff going on there, and then head down to Paddy. But be warned, Bangkok is very, very expensive at the moment, and I do mean expensive, really expensive. I spent more money in the few weeks I was in Bangkok this time than I've ever spent before. It's shockingly expensive, actually. I know that seems like I'm overstating it, but it really is. Right, what should we talk about now? Let's do a few more comments, and I'll talk about this one from a guy called Jay Davis. Right, let me just. I don't know what that means. Bishop's finger from 69 Phuket. That's obviously some joke I've never heard of, but I'm sure it's a bit naughty. Right, Jay. Hi, Peter. Thailand will soon be declaring the COVID epidemic. Yeah, that's what we just talked about, Jay, which means it's everywhere. Meanwhile, they insist on day one PCR test recipe for disaster. Now, I mean, look, I understand where you come from. That's fair enough. But, you know, they've been overly cautious, haven't they? Their numbers are... You got to read between the lines, and what I'm reading, I'm not an expert, I'm just giving you an opinion as always. You got to read between the lines, and what I'm reading is the numbers are 6,000 a day more than they were last week, right? But yet they're still saying we're going to downgrade it, and you know, we're going to lift all the restrictions. So that tells me that they're now thinking, okay, it's here to stay. They're probably looking at the other countries that are doing it, but it's not gone. I've got a story here that I've got a photograph of this one. Let me put this up, and then I'll read this little story out for you. I won't be able to find it. Yeah, here we go. I'll put this up, then I'll just read this short story, just so you know. So it's getting better, but still, if I put this up, and let me just find this story. Right, here we go. So look, if you look at the picture there, it says Bangkok is to open 9 community isolation centres with 970 beds for mild patients. Authorities from Bangkok Metropolitan Administration visited the new community isolation centre in a district of Bangkok. They were checking the centre before it officially opens. Nine more isolation centres will be open and are expected to offer 970 beds for patients in Thailand's capital. The authorities also said the Bangkok Emergency Medical Centre improved its contact system to avoid patients being left behind. So, you know, it looks like they're just kind of, you know, they're dealing with it now, aren't they? Everybody was paranoid it before. We won't talk about this all night, but just because, you know, people want to go back, and there's certain people who just said, look, I'm not going back until everything's dropped. I jumped through the hoops. And if I didn't have a YouTube channel, I don't think I would have done it, because it was a lot of hoops. But saying that, when I was there, do you remember on the first day I was sitting in a hotel room under lockdown on my first night of isolation? Well, it's about 7 in the morning, actually, not night. And I was saying, would I do this again? I don't know. I was tired, but you know, even though I caught it, I had a good time. I would do it again. I would definitely do it again. Right, how many we got in? 343. It's a bit quieter than last week, yeah, but so was everybody today. So was everybody. Okay, let me hang on. Raymond Lowther, attention seeking Peter. You missed that one, Franco. Look, somebody called Raymond Lowe says I'm attention seeker. If I was an attention seeker, I'd be standing on this chair with my trousers around my ankles doing something stupid, wouldn't I? Franco, come on, wake up. You get one less chip on Sunday now. Right. You can see it really bothered me, can't you? Right. Mark Hanley. Have you been pitching Brian for a job, Pete? No, I'm not. I haven't worked for somebody since I've always been kind of the last time I was gainfully employed and had an employer who paid me a salary was I'll tell you what, it must have been about 92 when I was in Konkan, and ever since then I do a little bit of work now, but I'm self-employed. But I know you're only joking, but I'm just saying anyway. So somebody left a comment on the Nat and the Nat and Dave. I missed one out, unfortunately. You know, the Nat and Dave cartoons that we can't get anymore. There were 10 episodes, and unfortunately I missed out number 8. I don't know how I missed it out. I thought, because sometimes people are right to me and they say, I can't find episode 4, or I've watched 4 and I can't find 5, or I'm on 6, but I think I missed 4. So I thought, right, now they're finished. What I'll do, I'll put them all into the video software, and I'll chop the ends off them, and I'll make them into one long movie. And it's a continuous movie. It's had nearly 80,000, I think it's had about 80,000 viewings in a week or something. Let me just take a look. Yeah, it's had 88,346 viewings, and it went up on the 13th of February. So a couple of weeks then, yeah, but that's a lot of people. But unfortunately, I missed out episode 8, the one where Dave actually found out that Nat cheated on him with Jason. But somebody left a comment on that and said, this is absolutely disgusting, you know, and they were being serious. I don't know why they thought it was disgusting. There we go, Black Bolt. We give you a shout. Have you just let me put this on screen for you? You're probably just coming. I was joking earlier. I said Black Bolt will probably come in 30 seconds before the end of the stream. Not quite so late, but I put this on screen earlier. I'm going to put it up just for you because I know you're there now. because you joined last week, and Brian Flowers has joined as well. So there you go, little name check for you there. But good to see you in as always. Right. Okay. Harold Bishop. Peter, my story for your Saturday horror stories might be a bit short for you to use. Here it is. I had to split up with my cross-eyed Thai girlfriend last year because we just couldn't see eye to eye. Harold, that is terrible. Absolutely terrible. But thank you for sending it through. Right. How do you pronounce that? Dan Shkula, is it? Sorry if I said that wrong. Sorry, Mr. Start. How will flights be affected by not flying over Ukraine, Russian? Any thought? Yeah, I mean, I did say at the beginning of this stream, I did say I'm not going to talk about what's going on at the moment. It's really bad. It's really sad. We all agree. We all think the guy's a nut job. But this is a kind of light-hearted look at Thailand. We're here to enjoy ourselves tonight. But I will just mention on your comment there. So, yeah, they've closed the airspace, obviously, for safety reasons. But no flights are cancelling. They're still flying. From what the news I've been watching, it's hard not to watch any of the news on this. They're just diverting. They just won't go straight over it. So flights will be fine for the moment anyway. We don't know how much further it'll go. Richard, Peter, did you see the report that the birth rate in Pattaya has reduced a lot in the last 2 years? I am available if a donor is needed. I didn't, Richard, but I'm sure you'll have to join the queue with all the other, all the other people who are willing to help out there. Right, Shane O'Traveller. Shane, where did I see you this week? Because you're everywhere. Where did I see you? You got a shout out on one of the channels. Where was it? Hang on, it'll come to me. I believe it was a tiger. Yeah, I was watching the tiger and I thought there's a familiar name. Looking forward to the move, end of pandemic. Hip, hip, hip. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good to see you anyway. Tony, have I said hello to you tonight? It's Peter from Thailand Bound. Yeah, I remember you, Tony, because last week you said you liked the girl on the thumbnail. You see, I do remember you. But welcome back in again. Okay, so let me talk about something else. It'll be boring if I just keep. Right. Do you remember? This is a bolder contention. This one. I'm a big believer in when I go to Thailand. I'm a big believer in using agents to get visas. People. The argument is to actually get a visa, to actually buy a retirement visa, whatever. It's about 1,900 baht, I believe. They might vary slightly depending. There's all sorts of visas. You can get education visas. Retirement visas, non-immigrant old visas, tourist extension, all sorts. Anyway, and I've always been a big believer is life's too short, time's too short. I don't want to go around in immigration. I don't want to go to immigration. It's really hard work in Thailand. All the forms are in Thai, and I've always sort of preached and said, look, guys, don't waste your time. Just go to an agent, pay the money. And we discussed this. I think it was 2 weeks ago, and somebody came on and said, oh, why? I went to an agent and they wanted 38,000 for a retirement visa. I went to immigration and did it myself, but and I tried to kind of justify why you'd want to pay 38,000, which is a lot of money. It's under £1,000, but what you've got to remember when you go to apply for a visa, you're just Mr. Nobody like everybody else who goes down and takes a ticket at 6 o'clock in the morning. Now you're going to be bounced around different offices all over Bangkok. You've got to fill in forms. You've got to go down multiple times. It's not, I mean, look what Ed Sweeney said in Pattaya. He went and did it himself. He said it was like going to a dole office in Toxteth. If you're not English, dole is like an unemployment welfare check, that sort of thing. And, and I've always done it, when I lived in Thailand, and when you pay the 38, I'm not promoting anybody in particular. I'm going to read you something in a minute. But when you pay the 38,000, I think I got quoted 35 for a retirement visa from the agent. You're not paying 35,000 for a retirement visa. Before you get a retirement visa, you have to have a non-immigration O visa, right? Well, that's about 11,000 that they're charging you for that. Then you've got the actual visa itself, but then you've got all the running around. Now, don't forget when that agent goes down to see his friend in immigration, it's not like you've got to get there at 6 in the morning, take a ticket. They don't open till 8, and you're there at 6 taking a ticket, and you're queuing up like all the other numpties. You sat in a plastic chair with no air conditioning, keep looking at your watch, and eventually you get there and there's something wrong with the form, and then they're like, well, leave your passport, come back in 2 weeks. Yeah, you'll save some money. If you're that hard up and you've got to save the money, then do it. But I got this comment sent to me from a guy called Jay Davis. And I just want to read it to you because it's self-explanatory and it just backs up what I'm saying. I'm not just talking hot wind. It really is a pain in the backside to go and do your immigration. There'll be guys come on here say, oh, I'm retired. I go every year and it's no problem. I live up in wherever, and you know, I'm half a day in immigration and it cost me 900. Well, fair play to you, but not in Bangkok. So Jay's written, I agree on the visa agency. When I was living there as a teacher, I was too stubborn and cheap to use an agency. Ended up not only making multiple trips to jumped in immigration, in brackets, hell on earth, and inevitably got turned away by rude, spiteful staff for some BS reason, but also ended up making multiple trips to various far-flung government offices in Bangkok, in brackets, that were in can't get that word out to it. They were miles apart. I wasted far too much time. Also ended up paying similar to what an agent would have charged me for the same thing. Don't skimp, use an agent, because you know, you're getting a taxi over here, then you got a taxi back, another taxi over there, and you know, you got to get your lunch while you're over there, and it's not worth it, guys. So sorry to go on about it, but I just, you know, I've been going out there a lot of years, and I'm a big believer. If you want to go out there and have a good time, don't waste your time with immigration. You know, just pay the money to an agent, get it done. You know, when I was there the last time, I think I mentioned this to you before, because I had to self-isolate for a week, and I thought, well, I'm not going to go home now because I've been banged up for a week. I'm going to stay another week. Well, my visa was running out, my tourist visa exempt, not a real visa, is it? And I just paid an agent. It was quite expensive. I think the actual visa was 1,900, but I paid them 6,000 baht. But they give me a visa till March. And what happened is they came by the hotel at 7 p.m., picked up my passport from reception. 10 o'clock in the morning, I got a phone call from reception saying, "Kun Peter, your passport's here." I went down, 30th of March or something stupid like. I was only there another week, but you know, that saved me a whole day running around. I know it's expensive, but you know, okay, let's get back to the comments. That's my little rant for tonight over with. Is it beer time? Not yet. Right, Klaus right here, is that as another name I don't recognize? Welcome to you. Thank you for the stories. I believe that stories are realistic. Visited Thailand since 2005. I got several for Westerners. Unbelievable stories. Take care. Yeah, I mean, one comment that comes out time and time again, Klaus, is people will say, "Oh, your stories are all the same. They're all, you know, people get ripped off, and don't you have any pleasant stories?" And it's not that. What it is, people aren't interested in the nice stories, are they? You think about it. You know, if a guy writes in and said, "Oh, I met my girlfriend in Starbucks. I took her to the cinema every Friday. We used to eat on a Sunday. I met her parents, and you know what? We fell in love, and guess what? We're still together, and we've got 2 kids." Well, that's nice, but it's not. It doesn't make for great reading, does it? You know. But these stories that guys send in, they're quite dramatic, to say the least, and they will be virtually the same because it's the same story over and over, just different circumstances, isn't it? But I'm glad you enjoy the stories. There's 4 more in the morning, by the way. Right, Mike, let's get you up. What are you saying? Hope the restrictions are gone before I return in June. Definitely gone before December holiday. I can see flight prices going up, low availability now. There's a, I think they'll be gone by then, Mike. There's a, have you seen the cost? Somebody sent me, was it Simon? There's a low budget airline that comes out of Singapore. It flies out of Gatwick. I think it's called Scoot. The logo's yellow. They were offering a flight to Bangkok direct from Bangkok for £200. Can you believe it? £200. It came up 9,000. Was it baht or no? It was £200. Simon sent it to me. But they're a new company. They're Singapore Airlines operate Scoot, if they are called Scoot. Mark Cooper says, "I won't believe it until it happens." A real pessimist there. Right, Timothy Rogers. Morning from Ohio, USA. Peter, how you doing, Timothy? I'm sure you want to get away from the TV because the only news that's coming on 24/7 is what's going on at the moment. And although it's bad, the news stations, they milk the hell out of it, don't they? Right, Suffering Sukkah Snatch. How do you pronounce that? Suffering. Suffering. Didn't read it probably. Suffering Sucker Snatch. Right, okay, we've got you now. Keep up the great work. I lean on your experience and insight. Thank you. April 3rd will be my first time ever to Thailand, as well as leaving the United States. Great stories. Okay, it's all right. I'm just checking comments on another screen there. They always get my attention if they've been blocked or hidden or whatever. Right, Suffering. I'll call you Suffering. Right. What I would say to you, I don't know where you're going. I was talking to Rob earlier. I dare say you're probably going to Pattaya, but a lot of what you've been watching on YouTube will go straight out the window as soon as you land there, because you'll find your own feet. And you do learn a lot of tips from these sort of videos. You know, when you listen to stories, when you watch people's 10 things to do, 10 things not to do. You will get a basic knowledge. Oh, okay, I remember watching that video. I shouldn't do that. But once you're there, it isn't bad. These are worst case scenarios. You know, I mean, it's like you just got to be careful with the the bar girls. They're very cute and they're very good at what they do, and they know what buttons to press, what levers to pull. And if you let your guard down, you'll be you'll come unstuck. They're nice girls actually. Play Connect 4 with them at the bar, and they've got a great sense of humor. You'll have a good time, honestly. But don't don't let the old hook go in and the fishing rods start winding back, because you'll be in trouble then. Right. Oh, I've lost that one now. Where are we? Okay. Just trying to find some new ones. Yeah, thanks for that, Suffering Sucker Snatch. I read it. I won't put that up there. Right. Okay. Right. Some people, one of the comments, I said I'd talk about this, but I'm just going to be really brief on it because she's not going to do it. A lot of people have said now that the Nat and Dave series is over, can we see who's behind the face? But she actually came on the stream, the girl who does the voice for Nat, for fun. When Simon and I, we tried to do a channel together, it didn't really take off because Simon's not really, he's more kind of like, if he does a YouTube channel, he'll do it in the office and do cartoons and things like that. He doesn't like to go out and about, and he doesn't like live streams and stuff. But when this short time that we did do it, we used to do when I think it was 1 p.m. on a Friday because of the time difference. And we had her on. We said, we're going to bring Nat in. You can ask her any questions, but she was just off camera, but she was talking, and it was quite, people were like, come on, we want to see her. What does she look like? But no, she's a Thai girl who lives in Bangkok. She speaks good English. She's a nice girl. She's not a bar girl. She helped us out. Simon just said, look, can you help us out with this? It's just for fun. She said, yeah, I'll do it, but I don't want people to know who I am because I've got family and everything. And she could see it was a sense of humor. So people have written this week and said, can we see the girl who does the voiceover for Nat? And we did ask her and said, look, but she lives in Thailand, obviously, and she's not in that industry. She was playing the part for fun for us. But, if somebody, one of her, not a family member, but one of her friends see it, they might start putting two and two together and making 5. So she doesn't want to do it. So I can't force her. So fair enough. Okay, Mike, how can Thailand downgrade a pandemic? I thought it's up to the World Health Organization. I don't know, Mike. It maybe they, I'm guessing now, maybe the World Health Organization say to countries, right, well, if you want to, you can do it. And they're like, well, we don't want to do it now. But so they've got the permission, and now they're saying, well, okay, although we haven't, we want to do it now. I don't know. But obviously there's something behind the scenes that I don't know. I don't know who you're talking to there, Dutch Frank. Don't forget the nails on your third leg. All right. I know what you mean by third leg, but not the nails. Right. Steve says, if I didn't have my girlfriend there, I would not go. Really, Steve? You wouldn't go to Thailand even if you were single? There's a lot of guys got girlfriends in Thailand who they haven't seen for a couple of years. Hopefully they'll all hook up soon. Yeah, that's right, Richard. Richard said the reason Thailand has high numbers is the low take-up of the vaccine. The thing is, Richard, you don't know the numbers. They put out all these numbers, and a lot of people, they just don't report it, do they? And you don't know what the real numbers are. But anyway, let's not. That's a funny question. Parky, where are the best kebabs? Now, are you talking about Bangkok? Or are you talking about Pattaya? They're pretty standard in Thailand, aren't they? They do kebabs. I'll tell you, actually, no, I'll tell you where some good ones are. Soi 3, when you come out of Soi 4, crossover Sukhumvit, where the police box is there, go down towards the Grace Hotel. And I think there's a place on the left, because it's a kind of an Arab area, but I don't know about now. I did take a walk down there when I was there. I actually walked into the Grace Hotel just to have a look what was going on. It wasn't a lot. But yeah, a lot of the they've got a kind of Arab quarter, and because of that, you get all the kind of that kind of food, kebabs and the bread that they have. And I used to go to a place to eat over there. It was kind of a open buffet. You get dal and rice and stuff like that. But yeah, that's the answer to your question. Right, Pete, did you get a side little tickler over there? Mark, no, but just imagine if I did. I'm married. My wife might watch this. I don't think she does watch it, but if I did, I'm not going to say, yeah, I did. I got a little tickler on the side while I was over there. I couldn't, could I? But just for the record, no, I didn't. Right, Franco, I left that one for you to read. You were asleep, Franco. Come on. You went to the toilet, didn't you? I had to laugh because there's Franco up on the screen there. He's doing the moderating for me now. And he also does the moderating for Phil LePub. And Phil's comments are kind of a bit. I don't want to sound kind of like he doesn't have quite so many comments, so it's kind of a nice steady pace. But when Frankel came on here last week, I think we had 520 in the stream, and he was like, I couldn't keep up with it, you know. But you don't have to read everyone. Normally the trolls always use capital, not always, but a lot of them they use capital letters, so they're the ones to look for. And if you, Brian was very kind actually, because you know Brian's got this community in Pattaya with all the other YouTubers, and they have a team of moderators. And what they do, they know who the trolls are. So as soon as they see a particular style of writing, or there's certain traits that they think, I know who that guy is, and he's got a team, and they know them all. And he said to me yesterday, Brian, he said, if you want, you can use our team of moderators. And I said, it's not that bad. I got Frankel, but I don't know, I might have to sack Frankel now because he's missed one, you know, but I'm only joking, Frankel. Right. It's not like I pay you anyway, is it? Right, JB, need your advice, Peter. I was in my local Thai restaurant, and is this going to be a joke? Right, I need your advice. I was in my local Thai restaurant, and I saw a great-looking girl. What are the bar fine rules in the UK? I didn't want to offend, as I don't know where. Okay, so no, I mean she's probably got a boyfriend over here or a husband who's brought her here. You know, I mean, you can't just go up to her. Just because she's Thai, you can't just go up to a Thai girl in England and say, you know, what's your bar fine, or how much you likely get decked by, or a boyfriend. I don't know if you're joking there or not, but no, you can't do that. Thanks, Bernard. I'll put that up. We've got 401 now, so steadily creeping up. We had 520 last week. I'm still amazed when I was in Thailand. Do you remember when I caught when I was under self-isolation and I woke up at 3 in the morning? I thought, I'm going to do this stream at 4 in the morning. In Thailand, so it comes out 9 p.m. UK time. I had over 900 people in the stream. I couldn't believe it. Great. Right, Shane O'Travis said hi to you, Franco. Let's see if there's get some cats and good coffee. Hi, Peter. When you went recently to Thailand, did the pollution problem improve? Was it the same as pre? No, it was a lot better, actually. I know that's one thing I've noticed recently over the last few years in Bangkok when I'm there. Not this time, but normally, and it never used to be like this. But I noticed I've got a gruff throat because the pollution is really bad now. And when you walk around in the daytime, you don't realise, but that all them chemicals and that pollution that you can't see goes in your body. And I've taken to wearing a mask now when I'm walking, and I'll probably wear a mask when I'm just out walking. If I have to walk down Sukhumvit in the daytime or even in the evening, I'll probably wear a mask, not because of COVID, but just because my throat gets really bad. But in answer to your question, no, I didn't suffer it this much. It was quite a lot cleaner. And it was really weird because I stood on my balcony I was staying in Soy 8. I'll tell you now, I didn't tell you when I was there in case some nut job with a hatchet was waiting for me. I'm only joking. No, I stayed in Soy 8 and I was on my balcony one night and I was looking up and I could actually see the stars. I've never seen the stars in Thailand. All the years I've been going there, you never see the stars. It wasn't like a full sky of stars. It wasn't like that, but you could see this, and that was because there was a lot less pollution. It'd be interesting next time I go back to see if I can see anything there. I'm going to just put this up again because this is. Oh, let me just get rid of that chat so you can see it. This is just about the. That was quite surprising actually. It's about the Thai baht. It's actually got a bit stronger. I'll just leave that there for a minute for everyone to look at. All right, now I'm bracing here for this one. I am Joy. Is it going to be a nice one tonight, or are you going to have a go at me? Right, Peter, are you not concerned that in all reality, China will... I'm not even going to go there. Look, I don't talk politics on here. It's not I'm sticking my head in the sand, but, you know, this is a stream on a Friday night. Guys are out there having a beer or whatever. We're talking about Thailand. I just don't want to turn it into one of those... there's plenty of people talking about politics. I'm not having a go at you, mate. It's a genuine question. It's just not what I want to do on here. I hope you respect that fact. Okay. All right, let's do another story. This Paul Hoskin. Oh, what are you saying, Paul? Can't miss you out, mate. Right, there's a lot of semen in... God's sake, Paul. You get worse, you really do. Right, Raymond Lowther. No, Peter, you got that wrong. You asked what do you call someone looking for attention. I just said you call them attention... Oh, okay, Raymond. You know, when you deal, you know, this goes really fast, and I've got, you know, Franco's doing the modding, but I'm by myself here, and my brain's gone 200 miles an hour, thinking, is it beer time? No, I'm trying to do the comments, make sure that the picture's okay and everything, and I read the comments quick, and I just bang, I've got to think quick, and I thought you were kind of like calling me an attention seeker, but it didn't bother me because the trolls don't get to me now. But you were obviously not one, and I appreciate you taking the time to explain it. So okay, we'll rewind and we'll take that away. No harm done. Right, Black Bolt. I have Zoom calls on Fridays, Peter. SMH. Okay, what's that? I'm a dinosaur. I don't get all these abbreviations. SMH. What does that mean? I'm just trying to guess what it could mean. No, I don't know. Okay. Always joking, Pete. Never take me serious, mate. No, I don't, Mark. Somebody said to me, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about the trolls again, but somebody who, I think he was a troll, but he actually wrote on one of the comments, he said, oh, you know, when you put yourself out in a public space, you've got to expect some criticism. And the problem with you, Peter, is you're too sensitive. As soon as somebody says something a little bit negative about what you do, you get all defensive and call them a troll. Not everybody's a troll. And it isn't that. I did go back and explain to the guy, and I said, no, look, if somebody comes on here and says, Peter, you talk too much about politics, I don't like it. I didn't join this channel for that. I won't call him a troll. If he comes on here and he says, you know, you wore the same shirt every week for a month, okay, that's an observation. I wouldn't call him a troll. But if he comes on and says, Peter, you're just a fat wanker, get back under a stone, for me, he's a troll because he hasn't added anything. He's just insulting me, right? So I'm not, that isn't the case. If somebody wants to come on and criticize or be a bit negative, that's fine, as long as it's engaging. You can't just go on a channel and call somebody or say you're going to sort of have a go at their family or something. That's trolling. There's a difference, right? Right, Mike again. See if we're getting comments from the same people. I'm just clicking on the same one. Right, Mike, Peter, my December trip will be in 33 days. Is it a problem just paying the 500 daily fine on departure or get the visa extension? 33. Oh, I see what you're saying, Dave. Oh, that's a shitty one you got there because it's only for 3 days, isn't it, or 4 days? Is a problem just paying the 500? No, don't get the fine, Mike. I'll tell you why. People will tell you, you know, in the old days, years ago, if you I think this is what you talk about, the overstay, right? If you overstayed, you paid a 500 baht a day fine, and even if you stayed 6 months, they just calculate 30 days to a month times 6, and whatever that comes up to. What would that be? 36. That's 180. You pay 500 baht times 180, and just out of interest, that would be, yeah, you'd have is that 9,000 or 90? You'd have to pay 90,000 if you overstayed in the old days. You'd pay 90,000 baht at the airport. You get on the plane, there'll be no more said. If you didn't have the 90,000 baht, I think you'd be in trouble. But nowadays, what happens? The longer you overstay, you can get blacklisted for like a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is. Now, people will turn around to you and say, "Oh, don't worry about it. If it's under 3 months, you won't get blacklisted." Well, that is true. They say once you're over 3 months, then you can get blacklisted for a year. Now, you're saying you're only going to overstay for 2 or 3 days, but honestly, Mike, I wouldn't do it. Why? Because they're not saying to you, right, well, you're allowed to stay over 30 days and just pay 1,500 baht, 500 baht a day. They're not saying, you know, we're flexible, you can do that. They're saying your visa stamp, exemption stamp, runs out on this date. You must be out the country by this date. Now, they're being a little bit tolerant and saying, okay, 2 or 3 days, you can pay 500 baht a day. No big deal. But personally, me, I wouldn't do it just in case I get put on a database somewhere and they change the rules in the future. Just get the extension. I know it's a pain in the backside, or just get it. I don't know what else to say. I wouldn't risk it. But like I say, people will come on here and say, "Oh no, nothing will happen. He'll be fine." But you know, you're not supposed to do it. Maybe I'm just I'm over cautious. Maybe I am. Right, Paul Hoskin, HLQ. How much is the Monga visa? All right. Alan Hilliard, is it? Tom Pecker, yes. Heard the same. Haven't got time for him. Bores me to death. Real rip-off merchant. Who's that, Alan? I hope you're not talking about me. Well, if you are, there's 431 people in the stream being bored to death at the moment. Dave, let me put that up in a minute. Tom Pecker, yes, I heard this. I don't know if you're talking about someone else, Alan, or if you're talking about me. If you're talking about me, Dave, Alan, if you're talking about me, why the hell are you torturing? You're torturing yourself. Why are you here? Go watch somebody else. And if you're not talking about me, no worries. Right, I've got to say a big thank you to Dave. That's the second one. Okay, Peter, when you go back to Thailand, what would you and Simon like to do? I hope all goes well. I don't want to give away my game plan here, but I'll just tell you in a nutshell very quickly because I mentioned it last week. Simon and I have got a lot of contacts in Thailand, and we can offer a service. For instance, if you need a retirement visa, we can get you one like that, and it's straight. There's no we don't do it ourselves. We're going to be like a kind of a middleman, but we'll help you out. If you're coming for the first time and you want a list of things that you should bring to Thailand or you shouldn't bring to Thailand, you just need some general advice. We're going to offer a whole service. We've got a website being made at the moment, and we're going to be offering lots and lots of different services for people who want to come out to Thailand. And when the time's right, I'll tell you more about that. And of course, I've still got my YouTube channel, which I'll do as well. But Dave, thank you, very generous. If we ever meet up in Bangkok, I promise you, hand on heart, first 2 beers are on me, okay? All right, it is beer time, guys. I'm overdue the beers. Right, what's the time? We've got 421 in at the moment. I'm going to go out and grab a beer. So you know what I do when it's beer time. Let me put this on. I'll be back in about 60 seconds. I'll just go and grab the beer. I always lose a load of people when I go out and get the beers. I had about 420 and it's gone down to 387, but that's all right. I've got to get the beers, guys. It's Friday. Okay. My wife got these for me today. I said to pick us up 4 beers when you're in the supermarket. And I said, get the small ones. And the reason I like the small ones is because I put a little bit of lemonade on top just to take the edge off. But she got the pints, and they're a bit big. But she did get them for me, so I can't really say anything. Let me just, I don't know what it is. Every time I talk about beer or think of beer, I think of Ed Sweeney. I don't know why. It's like, you know, when you can hear a song and it'll take you back to your school days, something in particular, or you'll get a certain smell and it makes you think of, you'll be walking out and you'll smell something you haven't smelled for years and it'll take you back to a place. Whenever I say beer, I don't know why I think of it. So I think it was when we did that stream that went on for nearly 5 hours. And we were both drunk on this, and that's not good. That's not a good thing to do. We were enjoying ourselves, and it was like, you know, we had a lot of people in the stream, and it just seemed to flow, and it was really good. And yeah, but if you've come in late, Ed and I are planning to do another stream. He's in Pattaya at the moment, but he said to me this week, he said, well, let's wait till I go somewhere a little bit more interesting, and then we'll do one. So that'll be fun, but it won't go on for 5 hours. Anyway, cheers, guys. Nick Frankel, make a Thailand band theme song featuring Ed's squeaky door. I'm not promoting him. I'm only joking. Do you know what? There's very rarely a stream that I do goes by and I don't mention Ed. You know, he's a good old boy, is Ed. Right, let's do another story. Let's see what else is going on today. Done that. Okay, I got a photograph. Let's do this one. Let's put this one up for you. Little story. Actually, this is quite an old story, but it's old, but it's reoccurring. People are still complaining about it. So I've got a couple of good stories here for you. Let me put this one up. It's a typical the title of this story is Tourists complain of more scams at a free public car park at Pattayaa's Bali High Pier. It says residents and Thai tourists are again complaining to Pattaya authorities, saying that they were charged a parking fee at the free public car park at the Bali High Pier. I pronounced that wrong. The residents report there was a group of people around the car park and demanding a fee of 300 baht per day from the drivers. Many tourists, both foreigners and Thais, weren't aware that the car park was free. After a number of official complaints, the deputy mayor and the police headed to the Bali High Pier yesterday. No individuals or groups collecting parking fees from tourists were around when the officials arrived. Surprise, surprise. Well, it's obviously there was no one around because they'd have had spotters, wouldn't they? They know they know what the Pattaya mayor looks like and the police. So yeah, they'd have got somebody there. Let's just change that. Let's go to Soi 4. There we go. Nice view of Soi 4. That's looking up towards Sukhumvit there. Right. Let's see what you lot are saying there. Right. Okay. Diane Abbott. Are you Diane? Are you female really, or is that somebody you pretend to be a female? Right. Someone tried to bar find me once in East Croydon. Okay, so I believe you are. I'd love to see your picture, Diane. I mean, I don't know if you're brave enough to kind of like come on here again and instead of having that D, stick your picture in there. But when you say someone tried to bar find you, what do they do? Come up and offer you money? Or I don't know if I was a woman, if I'd take that as a compliment or I'd be insulted because it's kind of a double-bladed sword, isn't it? But probably a bit rude, actually, thinking about it from him to you. Right, Car Dice. Hello, Peter. Always prefer to stay in a hotel room that has a balcony. Would you be comfortable to tell us the name of your hotel where you stayed? Yeah, I don't mind. Damon put it on to me and I got a really good deal. It was a stable lodge. So when you walk down, when you go down Soi 8, I think you've got Vivo restaurant on your right, which is good food, but it's expensive, guys. It's expensive. And then you carry on walking down. The stable lodge is on the left, and just after the stable lodge is a really nice big Thai restaurant called, I think it's called Deck 5. And you can go in there and get a real monster breakfast in the morning. They do really good food, and surprisingly, it's mid-priced in there. But Damien put me on there. But normally, pre-COVID, they were charging 2,800 baht a night. I don't think it's worth that much myself because it's a little bit dated. It's been there for a long time. They've renovated the rooms. It's a nice location. It's nice and quiet. The room's very, very nice. You've got a huge balcony, and it's nice. But when I was there, I was paying, what did I pay? It varied because it's the same hotel in Bangkok. They won't match Agoda prices. So if you're not from the UK, you don't know what Agoda is. It's a hotel booking site. And what happens is if you've got a hotel, they've got 100 rooms, for instance, easy numbers, then they'll give 20 of those rooms to Agoda to book. If Agoda manages to book all those 20 rooms and they've still got 20 rooms empty in the hotel and you try to book on Agoda, they'll say, sorry, this hotel's full, because they do a special rate on Agoda. And what happens is all the time, and this has happened to me so many times, you walk into a hotel, you look at Agoda and think, all right, I'll stay in this hotel. You go on Agoda, it's 1,000 baht a night. And you go up to reception and say, look, I'd like to stay here for a couple of nights. How much for a night? And they'll say, it's 1,500 baht a night, or it's 1,400 baht a night. And you'll say, well, look, I've just looked on Agoda. There it is. It's 1,000 baht a night. Just charge me the same. I'll book now. I'll check in now. And they said, no, can't, sir. It's 1,400 baht. And you say, but why? It's 1,000 baht on Agoda. Don't know. They will say the same thing. Don't know. So then, you just say, well, this is crazy. I've actually been stood at the reception in a hotel talking to a receptionist. And I said, all right. And I've booked her on Agoda, and she stood there waiting for me to book it, pressed it. I went, just got the confirmation. She's typing away on a computer. And yeah, that's fine, sir. Check you in, but crazy. But in answer to the question, yeah, stable lodge, very nice. I was paying 1,000 baht a night, and I ended up staying there for something like 20 nights, but that's where I stay. Okay, right. Let's say hello to somebody there who's quite generous. How do I pronounce that? Demark. Quite a few people in the stream that I haven't seen before. I don't know if it's just I haven't noticed you, but thank you. Do I call you Mark? I can't call you Dumark, just Mark then. Can you still have a good time and meet a girl in Thailand if you don't drink non-alcohol? Yeah, absolutely, Mark. That's okay. Let me explain that because I get this question a lot. So people, do I drink? Of course I do. Right, this is a question that comes up quite a lot. So people who have not been to Thailand before, they sometimes think, oh, well, I don't drink alcohol, I'm not going to have a good time, I can't go in the bars. No, you're no different to anybody else. But just to let you know, if you drink, for instance, Coke or salt, you wouldn't want to drink Coca-Colas all night or sugar, would you? But if you, like when I don't drink, I drink soda water. It's got no sugar in it. It's not fattening. It's just basically water and carbonated water, right? So you can go in any bar. Nobody will look at you funny. The staff don't look at you funny. The girls don't look at you funny. Nobody else. There's a lot of people don't drink. Most people do drink, but I'm sure there's always 2 or 3 guys in a bar, every bar, that don't drink. I've seen guys drinking orange juice in go-go bars. But what you got to remember, you're not going to pay, if a beer costs, for instance, expensive in Bangkok, like I keep saying, let's do patio prices. If a beer costs you, let's just say £1.80, $2 in a bar, you'll pay the same for a soda water. Now, I've had people say to me before, oh, I can go to 7-Eleven and buy this for 5 baht. They've charged me 160 baht for this, the same as your beer, but you're not paying 160 baht for the drink, are you? The drink is almost academic, because you're going into an environment where they're paying rent. You've got maybe 100 girls on stage. You've got waitresses bringing you drink. You're using the toilets. You're listening to their music. So it's a whole package, isn't it? So in answer to your question, it's a long winded way, but other people might be wondering the same thing. So yeah, you can go wherever you want. You don't need to drink. You order a soda, order a Coke. You'll be treated no different. Nobody will look at you funny, but you'll be paying. You won't save money. If me and you went out together and I drank 10 beers that night and you drank 10 soda waters, you spend the same as I do. But that's Bangkok. That's how it works. Okay. Right. Andrew, I was just about to go into something else, and let me see if I can find that I can see it on that screen. Andrew Farmer. Hi, Peter. Do you think mid-May is a good target for my trip? Well, let me find your super chat, put that up. Thanks, first of all, Andrew. Cronenberg's next week with that. May. Well, nobody knows, do they? But they're saying 4 months until they descale it, as it were. What we know, February, March, April, May. I think you're going to have to get your Thailand pass, and you don't have to do the 5-day thing now, do you? The 5-day SHA. So that was real BS. I'm glad that's gone. So look, what do you do? You'll get your fit to fly PCR test before you board the flight. You'll get on the plane. You'll have your Thailand pass. You go and stay your first night in the hotel. Presumably you come negative. Let's not even go the other way. You're negative, and that's it. You're out. And then get a PCR test before you get on the plane. People said to me, oh, you don't need to get a PCR test because England don't insist on it now, when I came back to the UK. And I thought, oh, they don't. Maybe I don't need one. But I went and got one. And it's lucky I did, because as soon as I got to the check-in, they said, can we see your fit-to-fly PCR test? Because even though the UK didn't want to see it, the Thai Airways did. So, as long as you've got all your paperwork in order, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Mold, how to pronounce that one? Okay, you'll have to read that. I can't pronounce that. When I was 15, I hitchhiked through England, came by boat to immigration. Those were the days. Yeah, all right. Skin Scar. I owned a lovely duplex penthouse in Wongamat in Naklua. Sadly, had to sell in the recession. I miss it very much. What a duplex? Yeah, that's not an English term we use. What's a duplex? That's like is that like a house, but it's not made of bricks, something like that, like a caravan, almost static caravan? I know it's it's an American term, isn't it, duplex? And we call it. I know, I'll kick myself when you tell me, but we call it something else. Right, Mark, vlogging a dead donkey, comedy gold, has a bit of niche market on YouTube. Yeah, I've seen the one where he nearly got into a fight with a bar owner in Pattaya. I'm not going to comment on it. I'm just saying I've seen it. Right. Cats and good coffee. Peter, have you seen the TV show 90 Day? Yes, 90 Day Fiancé. There are quite funny characters. There was an American Cheap Charlie that was totally broke, but still managed to seduce a Thai lady to marry her. She was a lovely looking girl, wasn't she? Is that the girl? I don't remember names, but I did used to follow. Obviously, having a great interest in Thailand. And then there's suddenly a show on called 90 Day Fiancé. If you never watched it, it was a guy. No, I shouldn't have said that, because I don't know exactly what it was, but he maybe had 90 days to find a Thai girl and marry her, something like that. It was a show. They followed it every week, but she was a lovely girl, and he was broke basically. But the one episode that really shocked me, I'd have decked the guy. He had a friend who had quite a lot of money. He was married to a lady, an American woman, And he said, because this guy didn't have any money, he was marrying this girl, and she was really understanding. He was like, look, I can't buy you a large sinsod. Sinsod is a dowry. He said, I can't buy loads of gold and all that. And she was a really, really nice girl. I mean, I looked at her and I thought, you know, she's nice. She was a nice girl. And she was kind of sort of saying, look, you know, if you don't give anything, I'm going to lose face in front of my family. You have to do something. What can you manage? And she wasn't a bar girl who was pressurizing him to get as much as she could. She was a nice girl. I keep saying that. But she knew where he was coming from, but she did love him. But she was kind of like, yeah, I understand you, but I don't want to lose face. But the one episode that shocked me on that one is where, because he was broke, his friend who had his American wife said to him, well, look, when you come to America, you can live in my house, you know, that's fine. And but what he said, his friend said to the girl, he's talking to the Thai girl, and his friend's sitting next to him. He's going to marry this Thai girl. They're sitting together, and he's sitting there, and he says, because they're living in his house, he turns around and he says, well, you know, when I come home from work, I might feel a bit tired. Is it okay if I get a massage from you? Can you massage me? Is that fine? And she's like looking like this at her future husband, and he's kind of like looking. He doesn't know what to say because he's moving in his house, so he doesn't want to say anything. But I looked at it, and I just thought, hey, Jesus Christ, are you for real? You know, you're asking this guy's future wife if she can give you a massage when you come up. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, I don't know, but you wish you hadn't have asked that question now, don't you? Right, Roger, Richard, not entertaining Thailand. Okay, you're talking to someone else. Paul Hoskin, someone should make manga t-shirts. I think somebody did make manga t-shirts. Who did I see wearing them? Probably in Patti. You can get anything made there. Right. How long have we been going now? What's the time? Cool. You know, every time I come on to do these, I think, I don't know what I'm going to talk about tonight, and they just kind of go on. Okay, Gary, thanks for the explanation. A duplex is a 2-floor apartment. Right, okay, yeah. I have heard it. It's just I'm not familiar with it because it's not something we use in the UK too much. Right, Javier Lopez, I believe that the passenger locator form will be scrapped before Easter. The passenger locator form, yeah, that's from the UK end, isn't it? I forgot about that. I had to do that. That was a pain in the backside. It wasn't actually, because it was just put your smartphone. You had to fill in a form online, but then you just put a barcode on your camera on the. Anyway, it's done. Right. TGC 2450 Stable Lodge is a Danish-owned hotel, right? Yeah, it is. It is. It's quite an old hotel. It's quite an old hotel, but it is Danish. And the reason I know you're right is because on the room service menu, they have a section Danish food, and they have another section. Is it Norwegian food, something like that? But yeah, it is. And you know what? The staff are really, really well, like most of the Thai staff in most of the hotels. The only grumpy staff I've ever come across. I've got to be careful now because I don't want. You know, there's this law, you can't say anything bad. But I'll tell you. I won't name the hotel, but I'll tell you where it is. In all the hotels I've ever stayed in Thailand, all the staff are always very pleasant. They're always smiling. They're always very nice. Same as in this Staple Lodge. Doesn't matter what you do. You could crap the bed and they'll just smile, you know, and expect a tip. But you know, the only hotel I didn't stay there, but I've been in where they're the grumpiest staff you've ever come across in your life. But they probably deal with a lot of pisshead Farangs. You know, they've probably seen it all. They're probably you know, they probably think we're all stupid, you know, just idiots now. And you can probably not blame them in a way because probably some guys act like that. But let's just say when you walk out of Nana Plaza, there's a hotel when you're looking straight ahead. You know where I mean. I haven't named it. But on that subject, okay, here's a good story for you. Now, let me get a picture of this one. This is a good story. Because you know there's a law in Thailand. You're not allowed to slag anyone off. It's actually illegal to write things about businesses. So you can't write bad comments or anything. They can, in theory, arrest you. Right, let me put this. Right, I'll just put this up and then I'll find this. Right, is that the title is? I've actually put it on the picture because while I'm looking for it, you'll get what it is. Right, so there's the hotel, and you can just read that. Let me find the story. Right, okay. I just had a cheeky little slurp there. Right, okay. So you've read the title. I won't read the title again. I might pronounce this wrong, but you'll get the gist of the story. So it says, guest Graz Supawit had posted on Facebook saying she had stayed at Siri Panwa Hotel, a family-owned luxury beach hotel in Phuket between 13th and 15th of February and had not been happy with the condition of the room. She said the room had been made from old wood and smelled musty, lower quality than she had expected, given that she had paid 40,000 baht or £913. It's about $1,000 a night. Borasit Wan Isara, managing director of the hospitality and property group that includes the Siri Panwa Hotel, responded by posting an image of the review on Instagram with a bizarre tirade in the caption underneath. In something about the sorry, that's not quite clear. In the rant, Mr. Isara called the guest's comments fake news, threatened to bring a lawsuit against her, and said, "You are messing with the wrong person." So obviously he was a bit upset about that. But yeah, you've got to be careful. It's not like, if you go there for the first time and you start you start slating people, you can get in a lot of trouble. There's a French guy. I don't know all the details about him, but I'll give you the general story. So there's a French guy. He's lived in Thailand for years and years and years. Got a property there. He's got a family there. His life is in Thailand, and he's got a vlog or a Twitter account, something like that, some public forum, and he's always criticizing the Thai government, the Thai military. They just had enough. They just chucked him out. Now his life, his life is Thailand. His family are in Thailand. He's married to a Thai. They just said, no, that's it. We've had enough of you. And he was got ridden of. There was another guy last year. He criticized a hotel. He was very obnoxious. He went into a hotel and he brought his own bottle of vodka into the restaurant or whiskey. And they said, yeah, sure, you can drink it, but there's a corkage charge of 500 baht. Now, I know this is normal because my background's hotels. If you bring a lot of hotels will say, oh, no, you can't bring your own drinks in the hotel yet. We've got a bar. You have to purchase from us or you can't have anything. But a lot of the, Thais are very, very easygoing. But I know it's very commonplace because my background's hotels that if a hotel allows you to bring in a bottle of alcohol, you can drink your own alcohol, but they'll charge you what they call a corkage fee. So, it's a restaurant. They're a business. They're not a charity. I mean, otherwise people would be buying food off a cart, buying a bottle of whiskey from 7-Eleven and going into their restaurant and eat it. It's not on, is it? So what happened with this guy, he went in and had a meal and with his friend, he bought a bottle of vodka and they said, yeah, no problem. So you can drink that, but there's a £500 corkage charge. Well, he kicked off and he was, I'm not paying it. Do you know who I am? And because he's got a few followers somewhere, I don't think it was YouTube, but he was a totally obnoxious idiot. And he went on to one of these TripAdvisor or something like that, and he just slated the hotel. But he didn't do it once. He did it multiple times. In the end, they arrested him because he just kept going on this. There is a law. It's called something like the computer law. You basically can't go on and just keep slating people. It's against the law in Thailand. And he didn't just go on and leave a review and say, oh, they tried to charge me 500. I'm a good guest and I wasn't very happy about it. I shan't be staying there again. It wasn't that. He laid into them. I mean, really laid into them. He's done it multiple times, and they arrested him. And he had to make a public apology to the Thais. What an idiot! What an absolute idiot! But there you go. I don't know how we got onto this subject, but right. Okay, Mark. Business Oppo, no singer or Chang vest, the Monga vest, essential cloth. Yeah, you're right. I like the word clobber. I haven't heard that for a while. Yeah, I mean, if you see these guys especially in a place like Pattaya, it's a uniform, the Monga uniform for the guys who are let's just say the low budget Mongas in Pattaya. So it's a standard. It's a pair of shorts, and it's almost as if they've tried to. Someone in the factory has said, right, well, I've got 1,000 flowers onto this pair of shorts. How many can you get on yours? And he said, well, I'll put 1,500 on here. And the next guy on the next sewing machine said, well, I'll put two. They wear these shorts just covered in ridiculous colors and flowers. And it's a white shirt with a Singer bottle, normally sandals with socks on, so I can really relate to that, Mark. I know what you're talking about. Right, Nick, Diane Abbott, how much for, oh my God. Diane Abbott, let's not even go there. Not for that. She is thick, isn't she? She is really thick. Right. Richard, I am arriving from Philippines and returning to UK same day. I will need to pick up my bags and check in for next flight. All right. Well, you obviously know what you're doing, Richard. So I was just making the point that because somebody actually did write to me in the week and they said, I got my Thailand pass. I'm going to Thailand, but I'm going to nip over to the Philippines to see someone I know for a few days. And I'm going to jump back on the plane to Thailand. And he just assumed because he got his Thailand pass, he was in Thailand. he could go back again, but he's crossed an international border. So, of course, you have to do it again, don't you? And he didn't realise. Canary spreads his wings. How are you doing? Always the hottest Thai girls with impressive assets on your thumbnails. Well, believe it or not, Canary spreads his wings. That girl on the thumbnail at the beginning, that's the same girl every week. But the picture of her tonight was when she was much younger. I might change that soon because I had a complaint. Visit our complaints. I told the guy you have to write to our complaints department and they'll sort you out, give you a refund, something like that. No, I had a guy, he wrote to me and he said, Peter, for God's sake, he said, I know it gets clicks, but that girl's knockers are just oversized. They're too big. Not everybody likes big jugs. And I just wrote back and said, who? I don't know anybody. Who doesn't like big jugs? I don't know anyone, you know. And it was kind of a serious complaint. He was kind of saying, look, don't put them up anymore. Just put like nice pictures of Thai girls in traditional dresses. And I was like, so because of that last week, I found the picture with the biggest, you know, she's really fully developed this on that picture. So I might change it in a week. Right. I'll leave that up there. Okay. Am I confusing you with okay, no, did I no, sorry, Diane, I think I got confused. Who's the politician, the lady, she's got the name Abbott? I thought somebody was making a comment and they were kind of saying something about her, and you've got the same last name. Well, don't get offended there. I wasn't being derogatory towards you. I've had half a glass of beer, so it's starting to take effect already. Okay, let's get serious now. Right. D-Rock 79977. Peter, the guy on 90 Day Fiancé said the massage question was suggested by the crew and he didn't really want to ask it. Okay, so yeah, I can relate to that because that was awful, wasn't it? I mean, you almost watched it through the cracks of your fingers. You know, you were kind of like, oh my God, did he really ask that? And they've obviously done it for a sensation. You know, they want to get numbers, don't they? And when I watched it, I thought, you prat. You know, if that was real and I was there, I probably would have done a girly thing and thrown my drink over him or something. But I can quite believe that because nobody in the right mind would ask somebody's future wife when I come home from work, can you give me a massage? Would you? I don't think so. Paul, you're on form tonight, mate. An immigration officer once smiled at me. I was really scared. I can't make out some of these, Paul, but keep them coming. I'll put them all up. All right, let's get to some of the later comments. Black Bolt. I really don't know why anyone would make negative hotel reviews in Thailand. Yeah, I mean, it's there's a couple of things there, Black Bolt. Some people think they're just important and everybody should kind of bow down to them, right? And the other thing is a lot of people are naive and a lot of people don't understand how Thailand works. And it's not just saying negative things. When you're in another country, there's an old saying, when in Rome, act as the Romans do, something like that. And it's very true. You obviously think along the same wavelengths as me, the same lines as me. I wouldn't do it. Here we go again. A fishmonger is someone who likes to use his fingers. Paul, you got to write a book and put these all in there. A fishmonger is someone who likes to use. Funny enough, I had fish fingers yesterday. I didn't know fish had fingers, did you? That's an old Bernard Manning one. Right. Okay, somebody else telling me what a duplex is. Right. Okay. Dutch Frank, can I bring KFC into the restaurant with... No, they won't let you bring... I don't know if you're joking there or not, but they won't let you bring your own food in, but you can bring your own drinks in. You're probably joking there. Right. Crypto Rocketeer, stop waffling, Peter. Right, well, I can't really sit here. I can't really sit here and not say anything. What do you want me to... What do you want me to do then? Right. Right, I haven't read this name before. Right, Brian Lincoln. So if you are unhappy or dissatisfied with a service or hotel, you just have to accept it. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, so you're giving a counter argument here. You're saying, so if you're unhappy with a hotel, you just have to accept it. No, of course not. But on something with the that particular scenario where they charge a corkage fee for 500 baht to bring in your own bottle of whiskey, in that case, yes, you do have to accept it, because that's like saying he goes to check into his room and he says, well, they say it's 1,500 baht a night. He said, I'll pay in the morning. He comes down and says, well, I don't think it was worth 1,500 baht. Here's 500 baht. Does the hotel have to accept it? No, they don't, because they've got their prices. And what he did was wrong. They told him before he opened the bottle, they said, you're welcome to drink that, sir, but there's 500 baht corkage charge. It was up to him then. He could either say, well, I'm not prepared to pay it and go out, or he could pay the 500 baht and sit in. Now, on another scenario, if you're unhappy or dissatisfied with the service, you just have to accept it. No, not at all. If you have a meal, for instance, and you think, well, I didn't enjoy that meal, it wasn't very tasty, it wasn't cooked right, it was edible, but it wasn't great, you just don't go back there. And you might say to them on the way out, you know, they might say, how was your food? And you might say, to be honest with you, it wasn't great and I won't be coming back. But no, you don't have to accept everything in a hotel, but you do have to accept certain rules and conditions. And their rule is you had to pay 500 baht corkage, and he didn't accept it. Javier, okay, you talk to someone else. Right, David Boy 666. Corkage is just manners. I ran a hotel and got and if people asked first, mostly I said, yeah, sure, it's okay, man. Well, they're all different. I don't know what sort of hotel you worked in. I don't know which country you worked in, but the hotels I worked in, they were 5-star hotels, and they had real set rules and policies that obviously, if a guest was a very important guest, they would rather give him a bottle of whiskey. I mean, if he was an important guest, they wouldn't bring in their own bottle. But of the 5-star hotels, they would prefer to say, there you are, sir, that's on us, the hotel, a bottle of whiskey with our compliments, rather than him bringing his own 500 and say, well, you don't have to pay for that. That's how the top-end hotels work. Right, crypto. Okay, you said stop waffling. You were supposed to show us a story and you forgot. No, it was the one about the hotel I just read out before. Was there another one then? Oh, okay. So let's do this one because this is a really bizarre story. 405 in now. It's up and down. Right. Okay. So here's let me get. I've got a photograph of this one, and this is a real bizarre story, as I just said. Let me. I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory when you see the guy hanging there, but I will read it out to you. Right, let's put this up. Okay, and we're talking about the guy whose feet aren't on the ground. Right, I shouldn't laugh really, but right. Okay, so the title of this one, it's Low-Hanging Cable Snags Motorcyclist by the Neck. Khon Kaen, well, we talked about Khon Kaen in Isan. A young man was caught by the neck and yanked off his moving motorcycle by a low... Sorry, guys, it's not funny. I know. I'm just having a chuckle here. I'll start again. A young man was caught by the neck and yanked off his moving motorcycle by a low-hanging overhead cable in Muang district on Monday afternoon. The motorcyclist, who was wearing a full-face helmet, recovered, regathered his damaged motorbike, and later rode off. But a video of the incident went viral in the northeastern province. And there he is, the unfortunate chap there. Yeah, but that's one of those things. That's one of those things that can only happen in Thailand. But I did read quite an interesting story. The Thai government have decided, you know, when any city or town in Thailand, when you walk around, the cables are just a mess, aren't they? I mean, it's just a plate of spaghetti up there. Well, they've now decided they're going to bury all the cables that are hanging in Thailand. They're going to bury them under the ground. That's a real mammoth task. Let's just do this one while we're at it. Not an overly exciting story, just about the Pattaya Music Festival postponed due to a rise in cases. Next month, Pattaya Music Festival 2022 is being postponed due to the surge in cases, which hit 1,250 new infections in Chonburi today. With the recent decision to hold off the music festival, some are worried authorities may also yet again cancel April's Songkran Festival, the massive water fight celebrating the Thai New Year. All right. Okay. Let's put these back up in case you're in late there. Thai baht has got a little bit stronger this week. Okay. Katzen, good coffee. He talked to D-Rock. Yes, there are many things that are too ridiculous to be true, like Ed No-Neck using mayonnaise as hair softener, or when slipped out. Well, I don't even want to go there. I don't know what that's about. Right, JB, I haven't heard from you. Have I read any of yours? Good to know about the laws on slating people. After waking up with a bar girl, I like to give her a card with a score out of 10, like they do on Strictly Come Dancing. I won't do that again. Yeah, no, that's fine. You just don't go onto public. It's not, you know, people say, well, can't I speak my mind? Well, no, you know, you can't. It's just the law. You can't do that in Thailand. Get rid of that. Right. Okay. Andrew Hammond, how you doing, Andrew? Do you know what? I read a bit more of your book and I still haven't finished it yet. What's it called again? Get Me Out of Here by Andrew Hammond. Let me just tell you about, and there he is on screen. I haven't read your comment yet, but I'll give you a little plug there. So Andrew got to, I think it was 50, you said, Andrew. Andrew got to 50. I think you said you went through a divorce and he just packed a rucksack and he decided to travel around the world. And it's quite an interesting book, actually. I'm not getting any commission. I'll tell you what it is again. It's called Get Me Out of Here by Andrew Hammond. But it's quite interesting because he actually, although he's 50 plus, he stayed in, you know, these hostels that you can stay for £7 a night. And there's like 10 bunk beds in one room. He was staying in those sort of places. And there's quite an interesting section in there where there was only him and a Chinese girl in another bed. And that was quite a good read. I won't give that away. So I'll read your comment now, Andrew. Hi, Peter. I'm late into the stream and I'm looking forward to returning to Pattaya in May and travel around Thailand and down to Malaysia for a few months. Glad you enjoyed your holiday in Pattaya. Yeah, Andrew, I did. But, you know, I tested positive. But at least I can say I've been back there recently. Okay, Paul. Right, Jebby, I yanked myself off once when on my motorcycle. The passerbys weren't very impressed. That's one of you're in Paul Hoskins' gang, I think, leaving comments like that. Right. Was it a Louis Theroux documentary? I can't remember. I like Louis Theroux actually. He's had some good ones. He's got a new run of shows at the moment. Right, Joe Dirt. All for tourism returning to normal, but maybe not quite as many as in 2019. You know, when I was there, I had a good time, but it was really weird because there was no. I think I mentioned before. You know, when you go to Pattaya, there's always big coaches and coaches of Chinese people. There's lots of Indian groups. You know, they all come as tour groups, don't they? And when I was there was a lot of people. In Pattaya, there was a lot of people, and it almost seemed normal. But there were no Chinese, there were no Indians, there were no Russians. It was really strange, actually, very strange. Right, Joey Clapton, is it? The street sellers like to attach those? Yeah, they do, don't they? They like to get their free electricity. The carts they've got lights on them, so they plug them into these electric cables, steal the electricity, basically. Yeah, Taxi to Lao, best way to speak politely to the Thai staff, and they will sort out any problems I find. Yeah, absolutely, Taxi to Lao. The thing is, the biggest mistake you can make in Thailand, as a lot of you guys know, if you've obviously been there, or else you wouldn't be watching this. You don't get anywhere by screaming and shouting and raising your hands. Once you raise your voice, if you're not happy and you're in a coffee shop, for instance, and you're not happy and you start shouting or raising your voice, straight away the Thais just look at you. They lost all respect for you, if they had any, because in their eyes, when somebody loses control, it's kind of looked on as, you know, the guy can't control himself. He's shouting, you know, and it just doesn't work. I've always found, you know, if you're in Thailand, you talk nicely to people and you explain. I know guys, for instance, who have had they've had problems with girls have taken out to the bars, and I've seen both sides of the coin. So you'll get a guy will take he's in a go-go bar, he's talking to a girl, she's all smiles and whispering and nibbling his ears, and I'll, you know, do every fantasy you've ever thought of. And of course, when they get back to the room, she's like, "Oh, I've got a headache, I want to go sleep," and all this. Well, of course, he's gone back to the bar the next day. The ones who go back kind of kicking off and saying, you know, "Oh, that girl was this and she was that," and they just like fob them off, and they're like, "Get lost, mate," you know. But the guys I know of who have gone back into that go-go bar and say, "Can I talk to the mama-san?" and say, "Look, you know, I'm not complaining, but last night, you know, number whatever she was, you see me, I had a drink with her, and this is what happened," and he explains. They're not, probably won't give him his bar fine back, but they will take it on board, and I do believe that they will speak to that girl and say, "Look, you know, it's not on," and hopefully the next customer she goes out with, he's not going to have the same problem. So it always pays to be respectful and speak nice. I had a guy once when I was talking like this on the channel. I haven't seen him for a long time, but he came on here and he said, "Oh, what are the Thais? Gods? Why can't we answer them back?" And I just said, "Well, just go there and do it, and you know, we'll see what happens." Right, Stephen LJ Austin, Peter, you have decades of experience and recommend using a visa agent to process your visa. Can you recommend a reliable agent so we can avoid the fake stamp scam? No, and I'll tell you why. Because they don't like giving out the information publicly. I know it sounds crazy, but they're not doing anything illegal. But it's a kind of it's a line, if that makes sense. And what they tend to do, they tend to do it if they like to know you a little bit. If you go into Pattaya, it's very rare you'll come across a fake stamp scam now, because normally what happens, they get caught very, very quickly, because what will happen, a guy will try and leave the country, his stamp's wrong, and they'll say, well, and he'll give them up. He'll say, well, I got this from the second road, from this visa, and they'll shut him down. They'll go and arrest him. So it's not like the old days where, it was quite frequent. You go, the guys who have got the shops, the proper visa shops in Pattaya, it says visa service, and they've got the proper shops. Well, you can't set up a shop and give a deposit and buy the furniture and get it all nice and put yourself out there and you're a fake visa company, because you'll have lost your investment in the shop. How long are you going to run before you're caught? You might do it for a week. Somebody leaves the country and they say, well, I got it from this shop. The police will be down. So you'll find the fake stamps are quite rare now. And the other thing is, you can check with other foreigners in the area. There's people who live in I'm giving Pattaya as an example because that's where most of them are. You can see other foreigners going in there. You can speak to people, and most of the time, I've never come across a dodgy one down there. Well, I did read a story about one actually, but they, like I say, they got shut down very, very quickly. But they don't generally like to give out publicize them. The one I used to use was in Hua Hin. She was a lady. She also ran a hotel. But they're everywhere, and I wouldn't be too paranoid about it. Right, check bang, you're in late, but good to see you. SMH Peter, oh right, you'll explain what that means. SMH Peter, this means shake my head. Michael Fox, who has Parkinson's, was being trolled on Twitter, and his son said, right, SMH, so he did. Genius, if he can laugh about it, so can we. All right, that's it. I didn't read that story actually, and thank you for explaining it to me. Right. Joe Dirt, do girls in BJ bars wear masks? Don't know. No, if it's a serious question, I have been in them sort of bars with friends, and I've sat at the bar and had a beer and waited for them. I didn't see any masks, but of course, some places were closed down during the what was going on. Right, Dutch Falang. Kevin Keeler, yes, some kinky new stuff. Trying. All right, I won't go there either. David R. Okay, how many Thai girls did you give money to build houses up country? Me personally, never did it. I'm married to a Korean woman. Right, Crypto Rocketeer again. Peter, I wasn't being rude. You were supposed to do a story and started waffling. You forgot why you were waffling and never told the story. No, that's fine. I don't get offended, believe me. What it is, when you get to sort of my age, don't forget I'm 62 in April, and genuinely, and I'm not being funny here, you do forget things. I think it's age. All older people it happens to. And what happens, I'll be sitting watching Netflix and I'll think, oh, I want to go and get a drink or something, or a biscuit or something from the kitchen. And I get to the kitchen, I think, why did I come in here? I forgot. And then I go and sit down and start watching TV again. I think, oh yeah, I remember. And I go back and I forget again. It's crazy. But no, don't worry. I'm not offended. I know you're in here every week. Dutch Frank, if you don't have Jason on your channel, you're not popular yet. Jason. Right. Gola, is it? Peter, how did you keep the women at bay in the 80s? Well, I wasn't married then, so I didn't. Mark Hanley says, who's Jason? I think you're referring, I think he's referring to Jason, who was in the animation cartoon. I didn't quite connect that to the comment, but I think that's who he meant. Right. Joe Dirt says, I saw an older man shouting at an employee in Big C, other people just smiling. Yeah. But that's something in Thailand that some people don't understand as well. Sometimes if you speak to a Thai and they don't understand what you're saying, they start giggling. And I've seen people get really upset about that. They're like, oh, I'm trying to tell her this, and she's just laughing in my face. And it's not that. With the Thais, when they don't understand something, they just giggle or smile because it's their way of dealing with the not knowing. They don't want to say to you, they won't say to you, I don't know. They never will. Like if you go up to a Thai person, you spoke Thai or English, and you said, excuse me, can you tell me where Mike's shopping mall is? And they didn't know what it was. They'll just say, yeah, it's that way. And you'll go down there and someone else will tell you the right way. So no, it's back there, because they won't say, I don't know. They'll just say, oh, it's over there. Right, cats and good coffee again. Okay, you're talking to someone else. Right, let's have someone new in. Soothing meditation. Simple trip which has changed any hotel stay. When I check in, I find the cleaners and give them 200 baht tip. If you look after them a bit, they will. Yeah, I do that as well. You're a bit more generous than me. I don't give them 200 baht, but when I was staying in the Staple Lodge, I used to give the girl 100 baht a day. It's only £2.50, isn't it? I mean, if you're there for a week, you're talking what, probably £15, and the service you get is unbelievable. I do mean that in a proper way. You know, normally they leave 2 bottles a day of water. They'll put 4 in your room. You get 4 every day. You know, you get 4 towels instead of 2. They're waiting for you to leave your room because they know they're going to get 100 baht. So you know, there's nothing worse than you wake up late and you've had a heavy night and you look at your watch and think it's 1 o'clock. I'm starving. I'm going to go out. I'll give them a chance to clean the room. You go out, you have a leisurely coffee for about half an hour. Then you order some food. You take your time. Then you have another coffee. You've been gone about an hour and a half. And you think, well, I'll go back now and I just want to chill out. And you get back to the room and it's still not being cleaned, you know, and you think, oh God, you got to wait for them to come and sit there while they clean it. When you give them a good tip like that, they'll be waiting for you to leave the room, and every time you come back, it'll be clean. What's that about cleaners? Soothing. How do the cleaners help you? Okay, I think we'll just explain that. There was a guy on here a couple of weeks ago. He said when he's looking for women in Thailand, he's got this thing about cleaners. I don't know, some kind of fetish or what it was. I don't know what it was, but he goes into shopping malls. You know these women you see cleaning with the bumpers, the big brush things. He goes after them. I don't know why. Dutch Frank Peter, if I change my name to Holland Band, do I have to pay for your trademark? No, I haven't got a trademark. I mean, that's the thing. We were talking about that last week. That's the thing about YouTube. You can go on and call yourself anything. It's not like a URL, a website. If you register a name, and nobody else can register that name. They can register abbreviations of it, but not that same name. But on YouTube, they don't seem to have that rule. I've had guys emulate me, call themselves Thailand Bound, steal my artwork and make it look just like me. Ed Sweeney, somebody went on Ed Sweeney and Ed Sweeney said, oh, we got Peter in the house, like Peter from Thailand Bound, how are you doing? And then this guy who was impersonating me wrote on there, I won't tell you what the comment was, but it was really derogatory. And he started off and said, Ed, how do you feel about the girls? Then he said something really derogatory, and Ed just said, that isn't Peter. He wouldn't leave a mark like that. And then only last week, I had somebody called Edward Sweeney come onto this channel, and he had the picture of the monkey and everything. But I knew from the way he wrote it, I just knew. I said, that's not Ed Sweeney. But that was a long-winded way to answer you again. I'm answering all yours tonight, Crypto Rocketeer. Catson, okay, you're talking to someone else. Okay, there's one for you, Andrew. Look, somebody was actually listening. Jay says, will you be releasing an Audible version of your books? I don't know if you're still in, Andrew, but there's a serious question there. I prefer to listen to audio because I go out with my dog half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the night. And when you have to sit down and read a book, it's time consuming, isn't it? I actually recently read again Private Dancer. I read it about 20 years ago when it first came out, and I read it just last month. I don't know why I read it again. People were talking about it. I thought, yeah, I'll read it again. It's a really good book. You know, Joy the girlfriend. I mean, in the book, it tells multiple stories in the book. So it's a story of Joy the girlfriend, his friends. They're telling their part of the story. It's a really good book. And if you haven't been to Thailand before, it's a real. I really recommend it. Private Dancer is a great book. James Casey, Peter, did you ever drink in Cosmos Bar in Patpong? More of a local bar, my old haunt. I think I did, James. Yeah, I do recall the Cosmos. I'll tell you why I remember it, because it's just such a really unusual name, isn't it? It's a shame about Patpong now. I mean, I don't know what Patpong's not really for me, but I went to the, as you know, if you watch the video, I went to the Patpong Museum. If you get a chance when you go and have a visit of the Patpong Museum. It's not huge, but there is some interesting bits in there. There's a lot of photographs, and they've put some very, very good displays in there. And it's basically what it says on the tin. It's the history of Patpong. But I didn't know. Do you remember the movie The Deer Hunter with Robert De Niro? It was based in Vietnam, wasn't it? It was actually filmed in a street that's very. Some of the bar scenes in The Deer Hunter were actually filmed in. They couldn't. They wanted. It was Vietnam, but they couldn't film for some reason in that location, so they filmed it in a street close to Patpong. But what they did, they took down all the Thai signs and they put up Vietnamese signs, so and it looked like they were in Vietnam in all them bars. But that was actually close to Patpong, and it tells you all about this. So. And I'll tell you where it is if you're familiar with Patpong. So you've got Patpong 1, which is the main drag. You've got the market down the middle. And at some point, there's a side road that goes off it, which takes you to, there's another King's Bar where all the toys hang out on the corner. But just opposite that, you've got is it Foodland, the supermarket, big supermarket, been there for 30 years. It's called Foodland. Well, if you know where Foodland is, imagine you're walking out of the front door of Foodland. We look there. I don't know if it's not because of the camera. To the left, I'm looking out to the left side of me. You look there and you'll see the red sign that says Patpong Museum. And I think it was, how much was it to get in? It wasn't very much. I think it was 200 baht. But, if you've got nothing to do in the day and you're over that way, Ceylon, pop into the Patpong Museum. It's very interesting. You're still here, Damon? Still serious about the Thai Elite Visa, right? I don't know if you've heard about the Thai Elite Visa, but there's different levels of that. I might as well talk about that for a while now you've brought it up, Damon. So the Thai Elite Visa is it's a visa where if you've got a certain amount of money, it's quite expensive, but you'll get a visa for about 10 years. There's another one for 5 years, but you go onto YouTube or Google, look it up. But Damon's thinking about that because he just likes an easy life. He's got loads of money, Damon. He don't want me to say that. Right. Crypto Rocketeer, Peter, you don't need to be 62 for that, mate. I'm 47 and been doing things like that for years. Watching a movie, go to the toilet in the advert, sit there wondering what the movie was. Yeah, but it gets worse when you're older, I feel quite lucky because of my although I'm old, I still feel I get tired now more than when I was younger, but I just feel I'm wondering how much I don't want to be depressing on a Friday night. When I was going to say I wonder how much longer I got, I don't mean till I kick the bucket, but I mean I wonder how long I've got while I'm like this, when I'm still active and I'm going out to Thailand, full time. How many more years have I got where I'll be like this before I get too old to do anything? Depressing thought. Right, Gary B7 Worry, Treetown Patio. Where did the name Treetown come from? I'll put that out there. Do any of you know? I would imagine, because there is this is probably too easy. At Treetown, there's a big tree with all fairy lights around it. I'm guessing that's why it's called Treetown, because of that tree. That's probably too easy. Right, Diane Abbott, you have to move on, Peter. Move on from what, Diane? I'm talking about lots of different things, not the same thing. If there's something in particular, let me know. Right, Spiz71. Diane, do you mean when you say you have to move on, do you mean because of the age thing and moving out to Thailand? I took it like I'm talking about the same thing. I need to move on, but obviously it's not that because I'm not talking about the same thing. So I'm guessing you mean move on with life. Maybe you can leave another comment. Right, let me put that one back up. Right, Spiz71, Pete, do you think inflation is going to hit Thailand as bad as the current situation in Western countries? Well, I do, because presently what's happening is there have been demonstrations in Bangkok with lines of trucks. They're complaining about the fuel hikes because fuel's, it's produced over in foreign country. It's not produced in Thailand as far as I know, oil, is it? They have to buy it in. And they've recently had protests and they've had lines of lorries lined up. Protesting at the price of fuel, but they're going to be, they really need the tourism back now because I said I wasn't going to talk about what's going on at the moment in Kiev and all with what's going on because it's on the news all the time. But how that's going to affect Thailand is because Thailand make a lot of cars, and a lot of those cars are sent to Russia, and obviously that's not going to happen at the moment now because all them cars that they sell to Russia can't be sold to Russia. And the tourism's on its knees as well, isn't it? So they need to do something in Thailand now. And the easiest get out of jail card I can think of from them now is to say, look, let's bring the tourists back, because I believe there's something like 14% of their GDP. It might be slightly higher, actually. It's not as much as people think it is. I used to think tourism was Thailand's number one. It was their biggest thing for their economy, but it's not the biggest thing, but it's a large proportion of it. And now with what's going on with Russia at the moment, and they can't ship their cars to Russia now. they won't be allowed to, then they need to do something else. The country will be on its knees very shortly. Right, Paul. I bought 60 kilos for a cleaner in Soy Cowboy. Oh, is that it? Nothing else? No sort of like twist on the end? Not going to tell us what happened after them 60 kilos? She probably just walked off, I'd imagine. Right. Right. Let's make money. Those cleaners now. Oh, God almighty. Look, it's up there. You can read it, guys, but I'm not reading that out. All right. We've still got 381 in it. Franco said to me at the beginning of the night, Franco's doing in the background there. I've seen your comment there, Andrew. I'll come to that in a second. Franco said because he watches a lot of YouTube channels. He said, I don't know why, for some reason, a lot of the Thai YouTube vloggers this week, their numbers have been quite low compared to what they normally are. So I said to him, well, it'll be interesting to see tonight, because I had 520 in last week, and at the peak, I've got 390 now, but there was 420 in. So, I mean, I'm quite happy with that. I used to, when I first started this, I mean, I only had about 50 in. 90 was a good night. But I don't know why I'm going on about that so much. Right, Andrew, so you've answered that question. So Andrew, somebody asked Andrew, will you be bringing out an audio book of your book? Jay, I'm looking into releasing audio versions of my 2 books. Steady, Andy, we've promoted one. Don't go too far now. Bear in mind, I will let Peter know. Let me see if I can reach this. Let me see if I can reach this to show everyone. Hang on. Right, I've got it at hand here. Let me just tuck everything back in, because I don't want to catch the cables. One thing I always forget at the end of the stream, I stand up and the mic gets snatched off my clothes because I forget to unhook it. Right, that's Andrew's book. Cool, what a plug you're getting tonight, Andrew. You owe me a couple of beers, definitely. Right, Get Me Out of Here, Travels and Adventures, Mishaps Around the World by Andrew Hammond. Guys, Andrew's not giving me anything on this, but I mean, I just plug it because it is actually a good book. And look, there's how far I got on it. That's how much I've read so far. You see, so I've only got a bit left. I will finish it. But I like, my favorite part of that was when you were staying in the hostel and there was, I think it was 10 beds. And there was a Chinese girl, a mainland Chinese girl. It was cheaper for her to, she was studying, wasn't she? If I remember. So you stayed in this hostel. It was $7 a night. Because you were moving around, but you stayed in this hostel for about a week. Was it Prague, somewhere like that? And then there was a Chinese girl. She was living permanently in this hostel because it was actually cheaper for her to have a $7 a night room there than to get an apartment. And she was studying there, but there were times when the hostel was really dead. There was no one there, but you just happened to be there when it was a dead time. And she was in one of the other beds. And we'll leave it at that for now. They'll have to read the book to find out what happened. But I thought that was quite amusing. And also I like the bit about the train journey. The Siberia, where you nearly you nearly missed that train that goes right across Russia. You're very adventurous, Andrew, much more adventurous than me. Right, okay. Travel Life. Peter, you should read a book called I've done it, I've read it, and I'll tell you what it's about. A brilliant book. Damage Done. It's about an Aussie man who goes to prison in Bangkok for drugs. Yeah, and he was set up on the front of the book. He's walking with a guard and he's got a big ball chained onto his leg. It's a brilliant book. I read it. I used to read all them kind of books. I told you about the bar girl in Soy 8. Somebody wrote, she's married, lives in New York now. My name is Lom. You like me. It was about the story how she came down from Isan. She worked in Soy 8 in a bar almost opposite the Easterny Hotel where I used to stay. I've read that book. Damage Done that you're talking about. That was a great book. I missed that, Damon, that $4.99. I'll stick that up in a second. Let me just go down because I don't want to lose that. Yeah, I'll come back to that, Damon. Yeah, it's about a guy. He got set up by some other guy. He was an honest business guy. He went out to Thailand, no experience, and one of his competitors or somebody, I don't remember the story because I read the book a lot of years ago, but he ended up in prison. It was a bad deal. You know, it just shows you how it can all go wrong. I just want to think if there's any other good books I read that I can recommend to you. But off the top of the head, it might come to me. Right, so let me just see what Mr. Damien is saying here. Right, I thought you were going to pull your trousers down there, Peter. I'd need a bit more than £4.49 for me to stand here and take my trousers down, Damien. You probably need to pay for me not to do it. It wouldn't be a pretty sight. Okay. Right. Smoothing meditation. Yeah. Very true. It does make sense depending on your age or money. Visa just stamp is 18,000 baht a month. Do a 90-day report. Yeah. Okay. Dutch franc, pay Thailand bound book fund 1 baht. No, it's not I can't afford the book. I just don't have the time to read it. You know, it's like, I don't know why I read Private Dancer again. But for me, if it's an audiobook, it's perfect. I mean, I like stories on you. Believe it or not, it's not because I like the sound of my own voice, but I actually listen to my own stories because what I do, like, I'm uploading the stories tomorrow. They're already made. They've been made from the week because I upload them for the members on a Monday. So the story, and that's not a plug for the memberships, but I uploaded it on Monday. So tomorrow I'll release the 4 stories for Saturday morning for everybody. But I'll spend tomorrow and Sunday probably, because I'm on my own here at the moment, making the stories for next week. And then I'm going to work on the video that Brian Flowers and I did where I interviewed him. Right, who's that? Gola, that's, let me just, yeah, okay, I've done Damon's right. There's another one there. Gola, consider publishing topics prior to going live. You and us can then prepare questions for discussion. Yeah, I don't really want it to go that way. The thing is, when you prepare, I do a few stories, like I always prepare a few news stories. Actually, just make sure I haven't missed anything there. Okay, I've got one more I'm going to do after this now. Flights. Oh, somebody asked me this question. I got not a story, but the headline is flights from Thailand not affected by Russia-Ukraine conflict. Ukraine's decision to close its airspace to civilian aircraft on Thursday, February 24, has not affected flights from Thailand. Thailand's transport minister said. Somebody asked me that. I forgot I actually had that story. I hope he's still watching. Yeah. So no, the problem is when you start rehearsing things and writing it, so it's all proper, you don't make any mistakes, it doesn't really always come across natural. I prefer to just come on here and talk. I see what everybody's saying, and I just engage with everybody who's on here and just talk to them, have a beer, and I just think it's more casual. And I just think if people don't like me or I'm boring, then they'll go off. And sometimes I do, and then people come back. I bought a pair. Going totally off subject now. I bought another pair of glasses for here. Right, these are 2.5, 2.5, because these are a bit Ronnie Corbett. Look at the big thick frame, and when I watch myself, I think, oh, they're a bit ugly then. So I thought, well, I'll buy another pair that are rimless. So these came today, and I got them out of the box. I thought, wow, these are really good. They're really good. They're really lightweight. The frames, I'll show you in a minute. Right, the frame's really small. So I put them on, and this happened. What do you expect? It only came today. Look. Anyway, straight in the bin. I won't even refund them. I think they were £2.99. Right, let me get rid of that. Right, okay, we're nearly done, guys. A few more comments. Roger, you don't need a degree to guess what happened in the hostel. Yeah, okay. But it's the way it happened and what happened. Yeah, you don't need a degree. You can kind of guess, but it's a bit more. Let's leave it at that. You'll have to look at the book. Let's make money. Cats and coffee and Western women treated men as good as a Thai woman in Thailand. We wouldn't be traveling over there. Yeah, they tell you that, don't they? But you don't know. Just leave that there. Flying from everywhere, I think, Mark. Okay, so a bit of information there. Football 442 says best visa to stay 2 years in Thailand, hassle-free and under 50. Right. Roger, anyone who likes reading, go to Asia Books on Sukhumvit Road. Yeah, I was surprised at that. They've still got Asia Books because they've been around for years. They used to have one. Where I used to go was a Landmark Hotel just around the corner from Soi 4. They had a big, when you go through the front door, you got the coffee shop thing there. You walk around the back where the toilets are, and they had a big Asia bookstore there. That's now gone completely. But I was surprised. I went to Terminal 21 for one of those Moss burgers. It's a Japanese company with quite nice burgers. But I was really sort of surprised to find a small Asia Books, but that's where you find them. And also the other place you'll find them, Roger, is at the airport, the Bangkok end. Not so much now, but when you went through the old Don Mueang airport, they had a few of these shops that sold all these books, but they seem to be sort of dying out now. A Danish bacon, they call me the Monga. Yeah, the Monga, I Monga round and round and round. Yeah, that's a familiar song. JB, if I ever meet you in Thailand, Peter, I'd like to take you for some nachos, burger, spicy chicken wings, 4 margaritas, 2 martinis, and a chocolate gutters and 4 foxes. Yeah, I get the joke, but is that also because you need somebody to pay the bill? Or right, Mark, let's get another one here. Mark, thank you, mate. Yeah, no problems, no problem. It really is a I wasn't just plugging it because you were here. You reminded me because you were here. but it is genuinely a good book. And if what do I know? But what I would do in your shoes, Mark, I would get it on an audiobook, stick it up on Amazon. It's up there forever, then, isn't it? And if anybody buys it, then you make your money forever, don't you? Right. Right. Another vlogger visited a hostel in Bangkok. Was like something from the toilet scene in Trainspotting. Was like $2. I'm not sure about that. I'm not calling you a liar, but they got very, very high standards in hotels in Thailand. And I've never stayed in a hostel in Thailand, but I've gone and looked at a couple of them. And they were very good. You paid something like $6-7 US a night, £4 a night, or $5. They're probably £7 a day now. But you had one room with bunk beds, but they all had a privacy curtain, and underneath the bunk beds you had 2 metal lockers where you put your own lock, or a combination. You put your own lock on there, and they're like a big metal drawer. You put all your kit in there. It's safe. It's cheap because you're sharing a room. Bathroom was clean. I'm not saying what you're saying is not true, but from my experience, they're very good standard, very good. Right, Stephen, Peter, are you afraid of the Korean temper? I hope you are able to dodge that bullet while you are in transition to your new life in Thailand. Some haven't been so lucky. Not sure about that. I don't know that. I don't know. What magic bullet? I mean, I'm just going to go out to Thailand. Some of these messages are quite cryptic. I don't really understand that. Might be a good idea to start cooking for yourself, if you know what I mean. Better than being poisoned by K-Rage. Okay, now my wife's not going to. If that's what you're getting at, she's not going to poison me. I think most of the guys here are regulars now, and I'm going to go. I'm heading out to Thailand. My wife's heading back to Korea. It's all done in a nice way. We don't hate each other. We're not really. We are kind of splitting up, but we're not. I'll tell you more about it when the time's right. 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 Richard, Peter, I heard you say last week you and your wife were going to separate ways. Why would you worry about mongering anymore? I'm not worried about it, but because of my age, I mean, I'm not. It might sound a bit cheesy, but I'm a bit rusty, if that makes sense, because I've never done it. I mean, people don't believe me. I mean, my experience comes from going out with friends. And when you go out with friends and they're talking to girls, and you're sitting there and you don't have a girl with you, then you pick up a lot more than if you're getting drunk and going with that girl. And that's where all my experience comes from. But I've not really got the experience of doing it for myself. Whether I want to when I go out there on my own, I don't know. Maybe guys look at this and think, "Oh, you're lying," or "You're crazy," or whatever. But I don't know. It's going to be a different. It's going to be different circumstances for me. I've just never been in the position. I mean, I'm 62 and I'm going to be a single guy in Thailand. I've been going to Thailand since I was 91, and this is the first time I'm going to be kind of single. So I don't know, Damien. That's very generous of you. For you and Franco, pizza and a massive pile of chips for Franco. A very, very small kebab for you, Peter. Thanks, great stream as well. I'm going to let you into a little secret now, Franco. You obviously you can hear this. When I said, look, I said to Franco, we need to take the picture to show Damien that we have actually bought the pizza for you. And Franco, it was me who had the chips, but I was a bit ashamed to tell you because I lost all that weight and I didn't want to tell you I had a double portion of chips. Well, it wasn't a double portion. I had one of those boxes of chips and I separated them into the 2 halves so I could put salt and vinegar. And I had them. Franco just had the pizza. But because I took the picture of Franco eating them, Franco said to me, "Get them chips over here, make it look better, fill out the table." And they were actually my chips, but I didn't want to tell you. But the truth's out there now, Damien. But thanks for that. Yeah, we will. We'll go Sunday. We're going to have a pizza again. Franco's just had a heart attack, and yep, he'll be having his pizza and chips on Sunday, like he was last week, or his pizza anyway. But yeah, thanks, Damien, and have a good birthday. It's not. It's in an hour. It's in an hour. But have a good birthday tomorrow, and yeah, have a good birthday. But thanks for that. Right, Peter, would you say 800k is enough to retire early on to Thailand at 45? 800,000 pounds. Geez, that's a lot of money. I mean, if you mean live out there for your rest of your life, the problem is when you've got savings and you haven't got anything coming in, it dwindles. Although that's a lot of money, it dwindles very quickly, doesn't it? I mean, wouldn't it be better to kind of invest that money, at least half of that money somewhere? So you've got maybe property or something. So you've got money coming in and you've got a pot. I don't know. I don't have that much money myself, but it's a lot of money. I don't know how long you're planning to are you going to start there till you sort of die? I don't know. Richard says, Peter, maybe just dip your toe in the water. If you're referring to going out there, Richard, no, oh, with the girls, you mean? Well, if I dip something in, it won't be my toe and it won't be in the water, will it? It'll be something else. Franco, Damon, top man, thank you. Have a great birthday tomorrow. There you go, Damon. Franco's actually said thanks. Okay, right. We've been going just over 2 hours, guys. I think I'm going to call it a night once again. And you guys have been great, really. And thanks for all the super chats. I know I keep saying this, and everyone does. It sounds corny, but I do really appreciate it, and thank you very much. All that's left to say really is have a really good weekend. I'll be back next Friday for the live stream, and 4 stories out tomorrow. And the interview that I did with Brian, I'm hoping to get that out for next Sunday. I'm just in the editing stage at the moment. So thanks a lot again, guys. I'll see you next Friday, and whatever you're doing this weekend, have a great weekend, and especially you, Damien. Happy birthday for tomorrow. I hope you're going to treat yourself to something nice.